We have that same exact keyboard that gets played in this ad every time,
Yep.
and there's apparently you can make the little like information screen play a bongo cat meme, and I kind of want to do it, but I have no idea how. So
It's that switch up to the right hand side by the Steel Series thing. Yeah, I've been able to make it happen once. It scared the tar out of me. Hey, everybody.
yeah, hi everybody, welcome to night 11 of the Steel Series Community League Major Leagues, and I am once again Edge of Insanity, and here with BTED72 and our cameraman Viral. And welcome to this another night of games before. Oh gosh, it feels like day 109. I know that I typoed that in the Discord the other day, but these games, they're great to watch, but it's a lot of games.
It is, but it's awesome to be here, guys. We really appreciate you guys swinging by, and it's a lot, but in a good way. I'm super stoked to be here tonight. We got a really good first match and a second match that's crucially important to both teams involved in it. FHS versus Popcorn. The winner is jumps into first place if I'm getting my numbers right. Because if FHS wins, they're on 16 points. If Popcorn wins, they jump up to 15 points, barring, of course, the tiebreaker.
Yeah, and it's kind of an interesting situation because if it's a full out win, like a 5-0 win from either of these two teams, like it's a pretty solid catapult into first place. Um, but if they both, if it's an overtime win, like is kind of expected, then it won't really change the rankings that much, depending on who it is that wins. So both of those teams definitely looking for a solid win as they go into the night 11 of our community
Yep.
league. And then the second game, which is Team Moist and the Bears, should be a fairly interesting one as well.
Yep.
But back to our Popcorn FHS run, we can take a look at our maps now. And we have Cliff and Runeberg, both pick banned by the respective teams. First map will be Himmelsdorf, picked by Popcorn. Mines, followed by Mines, picked by FHS. And
You
then
say
we go to Ghost.
mines?
Yeah, Mines, I think is for the
Mines.
first time. No, second
Second time.
time. Yeah, I think we saw day two, right? Come from one of
Day
the
two or
teams.
day one, we were surprised. But yeah, so mines is not being banned for once. Cliff is.
Yeah, but Mines is kind of one of those maps that's actually like balanced in the
User
sense
left your
of
channel.
the way that the game plays for 5v5. Like in
Yes.
the typical 15v15, it's way too small if you're going to play tier 10s,
Sure.
as far as the way that the just the size of the map. But when you get down to 5 tanks, it makes it a little bit more entertaining to watch. But after Mines, then we go to Ghost Town, Prokhorovka, and then we wrap up with Sand River if necessary for the tiebreaker.
Great series of matches. I like the fact that we go Himmelsdorf straight into mines because that talk about a change in mentality. So I'm kind of excited about this first match. Plus, getting to see FHS versus Popcorn will really show where both teams are kind of setting themselves up for the second half of the season.
Yeah, and it should make for an interesting game. We've had Popcorn here, who for the past couple of days that they've played, have not really taken things seriously. Um, they teched one due to not having enough people on against the Bears last week, and then they just kind of well, I don't want to say that they
User
didn't play
joined your
seriously
channel.
against Unlikely Heroes, but it didn't feel like they were taking it as a serious game. So it should be fairly interesting. But we have about 30 seconds now until we go into our game on Himmelsdorf. And with that, it'll be FHS defending first. So who do you think? What do you think we're going to see out of them? Actually, excuse me. Before we go into that, what do you think we're going to see as far as score lines for these two teams tonight?
I think we'll see. Let's say I think this match is going to be 5-3 or 5-2.
5-3, 5-2. I'm gonna think. I think 5-4 in favor of
Okay.
FHS. I think I'm gonna root for the American team, and we'll see if FHS can pull it out. But first up in their tanks, we've got two E100s, 705A, a Super Conqueror, and a Bat Chat coming from FHS. And for Popcorn, we've got three E100s, an E5, and a Bat Chat 25T. All of course, which are HP boosted. And for Popcorn, I'm betting we're going to see two 128s and one 155. And it looks like from FHS we got the two 128s. on
Yep.
those E100s. So high DPM, good pen, lower alpha, but arguably the better gun when it comes to the E100 at this point. But they are taking up kind of the standard split a little bit. They've got the 1E100 into the pocket defending the A line. They've got the 705A now up into the little pocket ridge to take a peek onto the hill if they decide to shoot down into it. And it looks like Popcorn here is going to make kind of an aggressive play right off the bat. They've got the Might Be Giants in a position where the E5 can play in a hull down if he just needs to and gets into one of those little dugout areas. They've got the Jan Toronto in a back chat on the 0 line. And you can see the E100 blind firing that corner now. I don't think Jan Toronto got lit, but Built Different definitely did know that he got lit because of the back chat's superior view range. But these E100s, they're making the cross completely unmolested. It looks like Boris ate one shot of damage.
That was a surprise because
from
Vova's early. Yeah,
Well, I
Vova's
think-
early positioning is what kind of surprised me that they didn't that they kind of have this freedom right now.
Well, they're kind of waiting right now. FHS knows that Popcorn, when they play seriously, are definitely a formidable team.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
they're kind of just hanging out, waiting for Popcorn to be the one that makes the mistake. You can see Vova in the batch, though he is making a play down the 1 line just to make sure that there's nothing coming up and sneaking up that area. But as of right now, it's pretty much like a standard trade-off at the moment. Boris, like I said, he only took 1 shot of damage crossing. So he did get kind of lucky there, but right now the trades seem to be primarily HE trades. A 0 did take a shot of HE from Boris with that E100 HE gun.
And looking at the setup right now, Popcorn seemed to be comfortable at this point at the 6-minute mark where they're located at, and I'm gonna kind of be curious how FHS ends up answering this question being asked by Popcorn right now.
Well, they don't really have to, right? Because they're on defense. So it's up to Popcorn to really push the play. And it looks like they're pulling 2 of those E100s back. They should be spotted during making that rotation. They're going to leave Boris on that corner of the D8 area. Vova now taking the hill, coming up from behind onto Jan Toronto. Will Vova push the advantage? Last time he played this, he kind of hesitated and didn't really press the advantage that he had on the bat chat.
And there's Jan.
And there he is. He did get spotted. They both have gotten spotted.
Okay.
I think it was definitely a surprise for Jan Toronto here, and it's really up to Vova now to make sure that he pins those shots. He's got 1 more shot. He should be able to pick up Jan Toronto, and he does successfully, only bleeding down to 665, so good trade for them, picking up that kill, and now getting control of the upper hill area, so as soon as Vova's reloaded, they can actually shoot down the D and the G lines on any push that those E100s and the E5s might be making. Now, the E5 is kind of an interesting pick from Popcorn. It's been recently buffed. It's got a really good, that decent heat shell. It's got good DPM, but it does not trade well against a Super Conqueror. A lot of people have kind of described the E5 as like a bootleg Super Conqueror because it's got. It doesn't have. It has that gigantic cupola still, the machine gun port on the top of it, which makes it difficult or difficult to stay safe in. And the Super Conqueror just has a very accurate gun. So Popcorn actually having a slight HP advantage here. They're up by about 800 HP, but FHS is up by a full tank at this point.
Yep, and I'm curious to watch Vova as he begins to rotate down across the A line and get into that situation, how he's going to try to impose his will either on Trouser Snake just to give him some pressure, or if he's just going to hold there right now, which it looks like he's doing.
Yeah, I think it would be in his beneficial point to kind of just wait. Because the Batchat is fast enough to flex around. He's got that clip that he can drop where he needs to, and they know where Popcorn is. Now, the only thing that they aren't aware of is the fact that the E5 is taking the hill. But that's fine, because he's isolated because of how slow he is. So they can actually, FHS here, if they realize it, could probably put some pressure onto Trouser Snake here. But they have to play it smart. They can't just push in blindly, because Popcorn does have some decent support behind him. Or Trouser Snake, rather, has some decent support behind him.
Yeah, he's got Miles and Boris, it looks like, behind him.
Well, in these E100s, they're very healthy still. That's the thing.
2,900 hit points in this game is very healthy. That's a lot of health right there.
Now, here comes Giants. My guess, he's going to push down and try to poke check the corner. I can't imagine he's just going to drive straight through. Or he is. He's just going to push right through. He's going to get lit by Oh, no, he didn't. Because Bix pulled back, so he's going to pop around this corner and surprise the E100 in the Batchat. But he is trying to put some pressure onto the Batchat now. He's going to get one shot in, but he's going to bleed a couple of shots of damage here to both Vova and Built Different. And he's dropped to 137 HP. This was a big misplay by the Might Be Giants. And he's going to get picked with relative ease by Vova there. And now Trouser Snake is going to have to put some pressure onto Built Different as he crosses across. Boris and Miles now down to those 3 E100s. They're going to have to put some pressure onto FHS because FHS is in a very strong position to just kind of hold them, which is what they really need to do at the moment.
And it did look like the Giants was in a really good position. He had that element of surprise there for an instant, and then Vova and Built took it away.
Well, he had that moment of surprise, but then he kind of overplayed it. The E5 just doesn't have good enough side armor to be able to side script effectively like that, and its major weak points are right next to the drive wheel. So Built Different and Vova down there on the corner trying to hold off the 2 E100s as both Overfilled Bix and Tank Destroyer are pushing in onto the E100 that's on the cap. Built Different, though, just managing to shrug off a lot of the damage there. He's still alive after face-hugging 2 E100s. So, good to him. He's definitely using his armor the way he needs to. And now he's drawing him back, letting Vova get his full clip in, and picking off Miles Breach there to win the game.
And now FHS does lead 1-0. Now, when we were talking earlier about who we were picking to win, were you picking FHS or Popcorn?
FHS. I think I picked FHS 5-4 to win.
I am going to go with FHS as well. Just to say I wasn't going back to, I just don't think I mentioned it when we were discussing earlier. And Vova at 5,099. If you guys picked him for fantasy, congrats. Built Different with 3255. Tank Destroyer 590 with 2624. Zero with 1562. And a Uber with 585. On the flip side, Boris with 2704. Trouser 2125. Miles Beach was 1641. Jan Toronto 1135. And there might be Giant 774. So with only 29% accuracy.
Yeah, the thing is the Trouser Snake and Miles Breach were the 2 that were dueling Built Different face to face with those E100s.
Yeah, that's
and
very
their
true,
shots, I think, just Built Different was able to juke their shots. Now we do have to remember that primarily the Popcorn players are RU players, so they are playing on the same. It's about 200 ping, if I remember correctly, coming from the RU server. But it, not all of them are, and unfortunately I don't know which ones are the ones that are specifically on. So, kind of sounds like I'm making excuses. But FHS played there very well. Vova with the hard carry in the Batchat, like you said, he got that full clip on the Batchat, and then he got a full clip out of the E5, and then he gets a full clip out onto an E100 as well, bringing him to 5k damage and 2 kills. Very well played to him.
And we're off, guys. We're on to our second match where they'll swap out attack and defense. And it will be Popcorn who will be defending, and we'll have FHS on the attack. And so do you think we'll see an E100 or 2 this time?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're definitely going to see an 100 too.
But do you think we'll see an E5 after what just happened there?
Probably not.
Okay. Because there comes a point where you have to figure out whether or not is it, even though it might be the standard Super Conqueror and it may seem very vanilla, but if it works in your meta, you got to play with what works best. And as you were pointing out, there were some issues with the E5.
Well, it's
in
not
that specific setup of the battle.
It's not necessarily it's not necessarily issues with an E5 because the E5 heat will still chew through E100 armor, which is why I think that they brought the E5 with the expectation that they probably have to send him against E100s. But, if he's going to end up dueling a hull down Super Conqueror, especially one that's controlled by Zero, it's definitely going to be an issue for them. But as we go in, we have switched sides as always. So FHS is on the attack, and they're bringing a 50B, 2 E100s, and 5A, and a Batchat 25T. And from Popcorn, we have 4 E100s and a Batchat 25T. Because
why not? That's a lot of HP right there.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And they're up by almost a solid 2k HP at the moment.
Yeah, yep. But we have a 50B and an Uber on the flip side, which is interesting, with Vova and the Batchat 25. Viral, just to give you a heads up, I'm not seeing the tanks move. I think we're still in the green right now with the tank choices. Here we go.
Yep, here we go. We are now in. Perfect. So we have the E100s taking an aggressive line push up the 3 line there, actually. You've got Trouser Snake back, holding back. But these E100s are echeloned on that D3 corner there, looking down towards the Banana Road. And FHS, though, they're not wasting any time. They're sending the Batchat and the 50B right to the hill. Overfelt Bix in the 5A, taking that little ridge point where he can actually get a shot across the map if necessary.
Yep.
And it looked like he tried to take one on that E100, but that 5A gun did troll him a little bit. But ultimately, the Trouser Snake did drop a lot of HP, though, dropping down to 1936 there. And I'm pretty sure that was the E100 connecting from FHS. And it looks like Popcorn is just doing a mass rotation now. They're leaving everything off of the 3 line, and they're just going to kind of move back up the B line with the 3 E100s there.
So your thought process, if you're guessing their thought process, they didn't see anything crossing on 8 line, so do you think they're beginning to plan for that up the hill, down the 0 line move? Because it looks like that's what they're moving towards, is to kind of defend against the 0 line push.
Or well, and that's what they're kind of looking for, but they're also trying to keep themselves in interlocking fire, sure. In the sense that the E100's greatest strength is to just kind of sit there and wait for people to push up, because it can side script really well, and it's got a decent gun to pen as things move in. But as soon as you expose that lower plate, it's really weak. So by keeping them close together, they can all kind of use their HP to cover for each other and try to farm out anything that makes a push. You can hear some blind shots coming in now. They did try to. It looks like Vova did make a peek, but they weren't able to spot him on the B0 line, possibly. But no, it looks like actually they've rotated out. They've got the 50B and the Batchat now heading both down the K line as a group move here.
Interesting, going right across the courtyard. 2 E100s. Or at least one E100. The other one is holding back at the moment.
And Woober there acting like a Jedi and swatting down a HE shell as it came in on him from from Boris there on the corner. Only damaging the gun, not taking any damage in return. But the 5A gun, it's a good gun, but it's not the most accurate thing in the world. So he did whiff that shot, but slowly Popcorn is kind of getting whittled down here, and FHS has not taken any damage in return.
And FHS is now ahead on the HP count. For the moment. And we do see
here
some
comes
movement by
Toronto.
Popcorn, yep.
Toronto did manage to spot Tank Destroyer here as he was trying to sneak up in that 50B, and there he goes. Now he's going to get some shots in. Tank Destroyer is going to try to get some return shots into Toronto, but Vova here is going to be the real key one, as he gets 1 shot, 2 shot, just tracking him though, 3 shot. And Vova now getting hit by those E100s that have supporting fire and whiffing that last shot. So the Batchat will survive for the moment, and Vova down to 404 HP.
Yeah, interesting exchange there. And it looks like the 50B, do you think it's going to begin cap, or is it just playing, just trying to get the shot? Like there's some commitment, but not a great deal of it. Probably more.
Well, now it kind of it sounds awful, but every time I see E100 gameplay in 5v5, like the mental image of the 2 fat kids slugging it out on the playground, that's kind of what it feels like a little bit, just because of how slow the E100 is and how I don't know. Uninteresting, I guess, the gameplay is sometimes. It's effective. It's effective, which is why they're bringing the E100s, right? But it's definitely not the most like, wow, that was a great play when it comes down to it.
We've seen dynamic gameplay. We've seen very fluid, sharp gameplay in the past. This is just punching him in the face until someone eventually runs out of HP.
Well, and Bix now here, Bix should be able to pick up the C100 very easily. We've got Zero and Built Different now making a push on the Might Be Giants. Is in that little pocket on the 5 line, but the other 2 E100s and the Batchat have now flexed in. They should be able to pick up Might Be Giants here. Zero down to 1 shot with 469 HP left, and but ultimately I think Popcorn just bled way too much HP here.
Yeah.
As FHS is more than enough to continue making this push down here.
And it's an interesting. I like the strategy that they set up. Like you said, sometimes slow and steady with this race, being patient rather than just going straight in for the slugfest. Even though it is ending with a slugfest, that's for sure. Like you said, they're just big box to it. If you've ever seen Butterbean, that's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Bix should be able to pick up Boris here very shortly. Yeah, and there he goes. He will go down, and then all that's left is Milebreach and Jan Toronto. Jan Toronto got that chat. He's just going to get pushed by both Vova and Bix here. And then, actually, he will outlive the other E100 there. And that will be a 2-0 game lead for FHS.
It is, and let me just check the stats out of curiosity of who picked that map. Looking at it right now, I believe that was picked by Popcorn.
Yeah, that's got to be a little demoralizing.
That's interesting. Yeah,
dealing with the fact that it's your pick and you just got completely clapped twice in a row. Overfilled Bix though, a Woober as he is known in the FHS crew, picking up almost 5k damage, 3 kills, and 120 fantasy points. So he do be gaming tonight. Both Vova and him are currently, I think, the top 2 players on the team. With Built Difference shortly behind with 4,300 damage, 0 kills, 89% pin rate, and 79 fantasy points. And, ultimately, Popcorn didn't do too badly. Like, that strategy would have won against most of the other teams in the league.
Yep. Other teams that aren't quite in the same position, haven't earned the same position that FHS currently stands at this moment.
Exactly. And with FHS, they are just I can't imagine they didn't prep for this. Knowing that Popcorn has kind of done this almost consistently, bringing in, multiple E100s repeatedly for Himmelsdorf defense. I can't imagine that they didn't look at multiple different ways that they could break a strat using all of that. So well done to them. And FHS now up 2-0.
Very true. And again, it's what a way to start the night. 2 good matches, different styles of matches, I'd say, on Himmelsdorf. And now we get to a map we've only seen, I think, match day 2, and that was Mines, and another map everybody knows, but we haven't seen it a lot this league so far here in the Steel Series Major League.
Yeah, personally, I'm looking forward to Mines, honestly.
I am too.
Now, as we were saying earlier, before we started getting into the games, Mines is one of those maps that, in my opinion, is actually pretty balanced when it comes to 5v5 competitive. It's small, but it allows for good gameplay. There's a lot of different ways that you can play it just because of the way that the two caps are positioned. And it kind of keeps you guessing every time you go in. You're never really sure what your opponent is going to bring.
I think that's crucial. I think that's key because the way that you do your tank build, the way that you depend on your meta, because it is smaller, speed's crucial, but at the same time, what are you picking and how can you play what you pick? It's great to pick the best quote-unquote meta tank. However, if you're playing one that like the back of your hand, as we've seen with 113s and some other tanks here, Fosh B, for an example, with Sheep, you sometimes get a different advantage. I'm curious to see what sort of tank picks play out and how the players use them in different parts of the map, because this is an interesting map.
Looking at it, it looks like kind of an aggressive hill play coming from both Popcorn and FHS, with FHS bringing in Super Conqueror, a 5A, 2 CS63s, and a TVP, and Popcorn bringing in IS-7, a Super Conqueror, a Batchat 25T, a CS63, and a TVP. Now, the trade-off between the CS63 and the Batchat here in this, if they both try to take the hill, is the Batchat won't be loaded by the time he gets there. So he'll have a couple of seconds where he can just bleed, but it doesn't look like Popcorn is going that way at all there. It looks like they're sending the Batchat, the TVP, and the CS63 out towards the island, as FHS is making that aggressive play for the hill, bringing with those 2 CS63s and the TVP. Jan Toronto here in the TVP in a good position where he might actually be able to get some shots into... Nope, they don't get this. They don't actually get the eyes on the CS63 there. Milebreach taking up one of those defensive positions a little bit lower in the G4 corner, as the other two medium tanks for Popcorn are now taking the island area.
It's an interesting early play by both teams with setup and just kind of waiting to see what they can spot, see what eyes they end up pulling up, and when they discover the enemy tank setup. And right now, I don't see any Popcorn tanks beyond the H line.
Well, they're playing defensively and they're playing it smart. Sure. They've got interlocking fields of fire. They've got the IS-7 with that great turret up high. But the problem is that in the position that the IS-7 is playing, he's susceptible to shots like we just saw coming from Vova into his side. and that's something that he's going to have to watch out for. Now, Trouser Snake could possibly be able to get a couple of shots into Vova and Tank Destroyer if they don't play those bushes correctly. But and a fire in on the Super Conqueror, built different, eating a shot from the IS-7 and dropping to 970 HP after a fire. RNG, what a bitch. Yep. But he's going to stay alive. Yeah, he's going to stay alive, and he's going to ultimately take the hill. But I don't know if that was really worth the cross.
But then again, you can't bet on RNG affecting you. Sometimes it happens. When it happens, you have to deal with it and make the most of the situation, even if you've lost. What was that initial 600 or 700 HP?
Well, he ate the 500 and change from the IS-7, and then he burnt for probably an additional 400, because these crews are full experienced crews, so they're all equipped with the firefighting skill, and I can't imagine they're not running bounty equipment as well, or not bounty equipment, but directives as well. But so yeah, he's still burnt for 900, almost 1,000 damage. Definitely not a good play there.
Yeah, you can't plan for RNG. It happens when it happens. And if you're risking that cross, you're going to possibly risk a shot. I just don't think he was expecting that to be barbecued. No one really is with RNG.
No, absolutely. RNG giveth and taketh away. Now, it does look like FHS is kind of setting up to make a one-cap play, possibly a push through down the A-line up into where the Super Conqueror is. But with Miles Breach now having moved from the other side, he's actually in a position to kind of throw a little bit of a wrench there, especially because he's not actually getting proxy spotted by Built Different here. Now, he will as he rounds this corner, as he gets into the proxy spot range. But as of right now, I'm pretty sure the IS-7 is hidden.
I think so. I think that's a good position, because he should be able to proxy spot the Super Conk the minute it moves, right? Or is that a Uber up there? Nope, it's a Super Conqueror.
Yeah, it's Built Different. That's up high on the Central Abbey area. Zero in the 5A.
Moving,
Yeah, Zero in the 5A is in that nice little corner. He should, if he plays it smart, he can probably get a shot into Miles Beach here if Miles decides to try to take the hill. But Zero, it doesn't look like he's taking the bait, and he's willing to wait it out.
And we're at 4 minutes 24 seconds right now, at least on from my clock that I'm looking at, which means there's still plenty of time to make your moves. But you have to start beginning of how do you aggress? How do you get your cap ready? How are you going to win this? Or are you just going to try to wipe them all out? And even on a small map, there are places where people run away once the tank numbers dwindle and get knocked down. And now we see the CS-63s moving.
Yeah, they're now going to make that aggressive push. Boris, though, in the IS-7, it's going to take him a little bit of time to flex back around. Or, excuse me, Miles Breach in the IS-7. It looks like they're actually going to focus Miles out there. They're taking up a position here. Uber managing to push back Trouser Snake with the TVP, dropping a couple shots into him. They are going to bounce at that range because he's firing heat at long range. But it does isolate them, as now they have Zero in the 5A, making a play down to the F4 rock, behind the IS-7, as the two CS-63s now are just kind of pushing Trouser Snake back, keeping him out of the fight. And it doesn't look good here for Popcorn, actually, because they've got a pretty good interlocking field of fire. But they're going to have to be careful here, as Zero is going to get picked up by the IS-7, and the two CS-63s now are in trouble, as the Batchat and the TVP managed to come around. Uber dropping to 305 in quick order. That TVP clip potential just almost immediately dropping off a lot of HP there. And they really didn't get the opportunity to do much in return. They did pick up the Batchat, and they've made Jan Toronto and Trouser Snake now one-shots. But Vova really needs to pick up these two kills here in short order, especially before the TVP reloads.
And it's 4 tanks to 2 right now. And
Vova does manage to pick up that kill there. Now, the IS-7 is aggressing on the Super Conqueror, so Built Different will need some help here in just a minute. And that is what not is going to happen, as Jan Toronto is able to put 2 shots into the CS-63, 3 shots into the CS-63 before ultimately dying. But it doesn't look good here, as only Vova is now left alive against Popcorn.
And he has over 2,500 to chew through without taking a single... Oh, and it's over. Boris with the kill shot there.
Yeah, the timer ultimately being irrelevant on this map, as that shot picks up the kill on Vova.
And again, this map pick was by FHS, if I'm reading it right, and that's Drop your first one, but remember, they flip sides now, and we'll begin to see. I think FHS will be on defense this time.
Yeah, we're gonna flip maps here, and we should be getting ready for another map here now. It's kind of interesting if Popcorn picks up this next win, they're gonna each team will have one on the opposite pick, which will be kind of interesting because generally you tend to pick maps that you think you're gonna win on. So it'd be kind of interesting for them both to have switched like that. But we do just to kind of go over a little bit of the after battle results. I mean, Miles Beach there in the IS-7, kind of being a little bit of an MVP that round, pumping out 3,100 damage with that IS-7 and picking up 3 kills. So not a ton of damage that he did, but more than like the kills are really an important part of 5v5. And with Mikey Giants and Boris and the CS63 each getting a kill as well. And Trouser Snake and Jan Toronto just kind of keeping the CS63s busy there for as long as they could to give Miles a chance to finish off Zero and built different.
And if you picked Miles Beach, you're going to love that last game. But sometimes the way that you play in 5v5 especially is sometimes bleeding HP is as vital as doing damage, giving your team time, being annoying. We saw Wallhacks do that. I believe, I don't know if it was Monday or Friday when he bought time on Himmelsdorf, and was really crucial in his team pulling off the win in that specific match. And sometimes it's staying alive and not going down as easily. In other words, causing the team either the tank to bleed or time to bleed to allow your team to kill their tanks is kind of crucial and part of the whole teamwork. You've been talking about interconnected fire tonight, but the whole team working together is crucial here in any sort of competitive tanks, especially at 5v5 with only 5 tanks on the side.
Absolutely. And, I'm glancing at my chat as they're hearing my comment on Mines being a balanced map. I don't think it's balanced in a 15v15 format, but in a 5v5 it feels much more comfortable.
I agree.
For lack of a better description, it's just there's so much more you can do with it because there's so many fewer tanks on the map. You're not spotted immediately. You can flex around much more easily. You can bring different vehicles because no EBR, no chieftains, no 279s. So it gives you the availability to do just so many different things. And from a player perspective, it might still feel broken, but from a caster position, just from an observational position, it feels so much more entertaining to watch. And in we go with FHS on defense, bringing an E100 to Super Conqueror, a Grill, a Bat Chat, and a CS63. And from Popcorn, we're going to get 3 277s, a Super Conqueror, and a TVP.
So, and just to let everyone know, our one of our admins said Grill Pog as a comment on this build. Grill 15 got some strengths and weaknesses. Do you like this pick for this map?
Time to roll out.
I mean, it's Zero, right? So if anybody's going to be able to play it in a way that'll maximize the strengths of the Grill, it'll be him. That being said, I don't know if it's the best pick. It's quick for a TD. Yes. It's got a really good high alpha gun. It's accurate, but it has no armor whatsoever, and
it has more suggestions of armor than actual armor.
Yeah, I don't know what it. I don't know. They're using him in a good spot. He's in a position that he can actually cover the hill if they decide to push up it and they get an eye in there. Now Popcorn is taking the hill there, and they're not actually getting any vision. I don't know if that's really by design with FHS, but they don't actually have any eyes. As Trouser Snake with the blind fire there on Zero, and that's the big problem with the Grill.
Yep, that was a chunk.
If you brought an E4 in that position, the E4 might have bounced the shot.
Yep. Like you said, it's got more like the concept of armor than actual armor on it. Big gun, and again, the player really makes the difference. So someone like Zero who can get the most out of it, he could make this the best tank in this match. But we have to see how he can implement it, how his team kind of coordinates in with him in driving that specific tank on this map.
Now, I wonder if the Grill was kind of a last-minute pick here coming from FHS, because I know that we've seen a lot of people kind of make the play with a 4005 in the position that Zero is currently playing. So I wonder if FHS kind of is trying out you know, well, not trying it out, but they're using the grill in the same way that you would use the 4005 as just kind of an immediate kind of wall that you don't want to bleed a lot of HP to. Now, it does look like Might Be Giants did get spotted there as he tried to take the ridge. He looks like he ate a shot from either the CS63 or the Bat Chat there.
Interesting. And again, we're seeing some rotation with Miles going all the way back north to catch along that road down the sea line.
And with just over 5.5 minutes remaining, it is still pretty even here. Each team having traded a bit of HP, but nobody having lost anything in particular. Now, Vova taking the smart ride up here. He's using the rocks and the bushes here for a little bit of protection to try to get himself into a position that he could possibly spot out something that might be on that back ridge. And will he outspot the TVP on Toronto here?
Well, even if he can spot something on the hill itself, would that be excellent, and give that gorilla a target to blap.
Well, I'm looking at Vova's equipment choices here with a Turbo Boost, a Bonds Vert Stab, and a Bounty improved or a Bounty IRM. So, kind of an interesting choice there for his loadout. And with that, Miles Breach is now on the cap, so the Bat Chat is going to push up here. Vova, though, that's a risky play for Vova, as he knows that the TVP is there, but he doesn't know about the other two 277s that are closing in on him. As the bush goes down, you noticed Vova did see it. He's trying to get out of there now. There's another tank coming in. The IS-277 is diving down.
Any break?
I think Vova is going to get picked here as he gets tracked, and there down he goes in very short order as Popcorn springs that trap very effectively, dropping Vova in quick succession. Now, Tank Destroyer in the CS63 is kind of exposed here as well. It's not really the best
I don't think they took any shots back in response to that. Did they take any damage back from that Bat Chat as it ran?
No, I don't believe so, as Vova tried to get out of there. Well, they didn't take any actual damage, but Boris, in the process of dropping down to get the kill onto Vova, did lose about 1,000 HP.
There we go.
Due to physics, but it wasn't any like actual damage coming from FHS. And meanwhile, Miles is just kind of playing the distraction point over here, keeping Uwuber and Tank Destroyer from making any sort of a play in the mid, as
they have to
just kind
be
of
aware
slide in the cap as needed.
Yep, and a 277 is a tough enough tank that if it does flank around, if there is a big push, having one of those behind you is not a good situation.
Well, and here's where the grill should be shining, as Zero should be able to get some shots into the 277s. But at the same time, Tank Destroyer and Built Different are losing a lot of HP. Now, Zero did manage to pick up the kill on the Super Conqueror there, but the rest of FHS's team now is 1 shots or 2 shots.
Yeah, they're in shambles right now.
It's not a good position to be in, as Miles is actually in a better position than the Super Conqueror. He's able to shoot down into the upper hull plate, and you saw that shot just went right through. And he should be able to pick up Tank Destroyer here in short order as well, as the E100 should go down here very shortly. Zero trying to keep him alive. And you can see he was trying to consider if he wanted to shoot through that little crack in the window, but he did not.
Did he get shot through the window? It looks like that shell flew right through the window.
Yeah, you know, it's entirely possible, but now all that's left is Zero with the grill. Now, the kicker here is every single one of Popcorn's tanks is a 1-shot to the grill.
That would be an epic comeback, if there is such a thing. That would be very epic, if he can pull this off. And we've talked about it's a player in the tank. That's kind of, you know... And we know Zero's more than capable of hitting shots. Do you think that Popcorn just sets up to force Zero to move to kind of with the cap?
Well, that's what they're doing right now. By putting the Bat Chat on cap, they've got 1 minute 30 seconds before it gets reset, or before the game ends effectively. And he's in a position where he can't get shot by the grill. So it's really up to Zero now to make the play, because there's more than 30 seconds in between the end of the cap timer and the end of the game itself. So he's making the push up. Oh, he misses the shot on the 277. He needed to pen that.
Ugh.
He's going to get a hit now by the Bat Cat and picked off by Trouser Snake in the 277. And that will spell an end to FHS on Mines and make it a tied 2-2 series.
It is, and our next map up, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be Ghost Town, which will be interesting with these two teams. It's been hyper competitive so far. To the first map, to the second map, except today it's flipped. And as you pointed out earlier, they're now picking it up on the other team's picks. Zero with 28-24 in that grill. Tank Destroyer 26-34. Built differently 21-49. Uber with 1250. Vova with nothing, 0. That tells a story. Miles Beach with 29-14. Jan Toronto 26-66. Trouser Snake 24-59. That might be Giants 1970. And Boris DeBlay with 1201. And if you're keeping count with the fantasy, Miles, we got 84.3 points, and then Tank Destroyer got 61 points on the opposite side. And what do you think so far? Is this kind of what you expected, this back and forth play by both teams?
Yeah, because I think Popcorn wants to kind of prove a point. You know, they've been taking it easy. They think they can just kind of waltz in and win. FHS though is not a pushover, so I have a feeling that these games would come down to a kind of a slug match.
Well, and here we are in the middle of what seems to be one, and just getting.
Yeah, and it looks like a timeout was called.
Yeah. And just so that way you're aware, there's a copying error on my part. So the map is actually Cliff, not Ghost Town.
Ah, okay.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So we'll be heading into Ghost Town then. Perfect.
That'll be interesting, especially.
Or heading into Cliff, rather, right?
Cliff, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Small brain moment there.
It's been a long day. It's all good.
Yeah, it has. It definitely has. Well, as I said earlier, I contemplated taking a nap, but then I realized that if I was going to take a nap, it would just turn into bedtime. So needed to make sure that I had a cup of coffee before we started this series of games, and it is not working as well as I had hoped. But
it's not a nap; it'd be a sleep. So yeah, I feel as you, sir. There is a question from folks in my chat. They were wondering if there's any way they can get their hands on some of these amazing camouflages we're seeing.
Well, as of right now, as far as I'm aware, unfortunately they can't. These camos are made specifically by one of the Wargaming members, or one of the Wargaming staff members for the Community League. We have implored with Wargaming and asked them to, in the past, allow us to purchase them for gold to put on our tanks in game.
But even set it up for charity as well.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Wargaming moves at glacial speeds, so at some point they might decide that they want to do something like that, but they tend to manage to do things just a little too late, if that makes sense.
Well, I encourage you guys, if this is something you want, talk about it in the forums. They do read the forums, I can tell you from experience. So if this is something that you want, make sure that you say, hey, can I have this? And don't be afraid to take a screenshot of these images of the great tank camouflages. Again, you said it was done by the teams, or by an individual who's just kind of gone out of their way to do this?
Yeah, and there's a lot of interest in the camos, and there are some of them that look absolutely fantastic for these games, and I thoroughly enjoy because each of the teams gets to personalize their camos a little bit.
Okay, there we go. Yeah,
they get to pick their color, they get to pick the design. They work with one of the people at Wargaming for the design, and then everything's kind of finalized. So, yeah, if it's something that everybody really wants, make noise on the forums.
Absolutely.
Especially if you can speak Russian. Make noise on the RU forums. That's where the real decisions are made. So it can be done. You just have to make the noise and make it something that Wargaming pays attention to.
And if you don't speak Russian, don't be afraid to make noise on the NA server either, because they do collect data, they do listen, and they do want to know what you guys are thinking.
Yeah, and as we go in, we are back off of our timeout. We are now on Cliff with FHS on defense. Now, we're going to see 0 in a 5A, Vova in a Batchat 25T, Tank Destroyer in a CS63, Built Different in an STB, and a Woober, Oberfeld Bix in a TVP. And coming from Popcorn, who are on attack, we have got 2 Batchats, 2 STBs, and a TVP as well.
And I think we've been seeing a lot of different setups using the TVP. And either shooting from the rock, shooting up onto the hill. There's just a lot of different uses for it, and I think it's really kind of found a home on this map if you use it to your strengths, if you will.
Oh well, it's definitely something that you can use to your advantage. Now, yesterday we kind of saw an FHS strat come from Flippy B when they when they were on attack. So it'll be interesting to see if FHS uses that same play when it's their turn. But it looks like we're going in straight for
look at those masses
right off the bat.
Yeah,
Trouser Snake in the bat chat is going to try to take the hill pretty quickly there. Oh my god, he is going to bleed a shot of damage there. Bix now in the back is going to get a couple shots. Vova getting a shot at as well. Vova now could win this trade very easily, but Bix should be able to pick him up, and there he does. So with Vova now, he should still have about 3 shots left. Bix is going to die here, most likely, as the STB in the bat chat making a push around on him. Boar should be able to pick up this kill very, very shortly. But Beyond Toronto is now on reload, and the Giants is going to be on reload here very shortly as well. So this is the benefit that these two single shot, the STB and the CS63, have over those autoloaders. Zero, though, in the 5A, still in the back, still trying to get up here. I don't know what he's doing. He's kind of hanging back out there. And Might Be Giants here with 2 shots left. He's going to sink both of them into Zero, dropping him to 1,600 damage, but now he's on reload as well. And it doesn't actually look good for FHS here, as it's just Zero and Built Different. And, you know, they gave, what happened was they really kind of gave Popcorn time to use that STB DPM words and pick apart FHS there on the ridge.
I think you highlighted that point. With Zero hanging back, he couldn't get in the brawl, and it wasn't as accessible for him. He had to take the time to move forward. In 20 seconds in this sort of situation is going to lead to a lot of damage if you're not careful.
Now this is still technically winnable for FHS. Built Different here needs to live, and Zero needs to maximize the use of the gun. But actually, no, never mind. Might Be Giants is behind him. It's over.
Yep.
Built Different with 47 HP in the here now.
It's going to take a miracle at the moment with 47 HP.
Oh, ooh, the bounce off the rear, but Miles Breach was waiting there for Built Different to move around the corner. And FHS is now down by a win as Popcorn takes the lead for the first time tonight, making it a 3-2 game series.
Congratulations to Popcorn. This is the first time they're leading for the evening. They've won the last 3 matches. So you wonder how that plays psychologically into it. On looking at the stats, anything stand out to you in the stats as we look at this?
The fact that FHS, with the exception of Built Different, didn't even clear 1,500 damage.
Yep.
That is the big thing. Zero, I think, held back a little bit too long. He was going to play in that back ridge in case they pushed around, so he could get some shots in as they were trying to push around. But ultimately, it was almost a 5-on-4 game that entire time. With the entirety.
Popcorn's commitment that they were going to go all in paid off.
Yeah, well, it was an all-in strat. It worked well for them. They were able to trade their HP well, and Zero, I think, just got in ultimately a little too late there. But, you know, well played to Popcorn. They pick up their first win on this Cliff series, and we will switch sides here in just a moment. And, you know, we've been doing these games for a little bit, so just as an FYI, guys, it is a best-of-9 series, so it's the first of 5 wins.
Yep.
Attack-defense format. Each team will get a chance to play an attack and a defense on the maps that they've picked prior to the game starting. And, yeah, it's been pretty good so far, I think.
And if you're new, welcome. We really appreciate you stopping by tonight. This is 5v5 tier 10s, 5v5 words, tier 10s, and the rules are pretty simple. There's no EBRs, and there's no reward tanks. So you won't see any EBRs, or you won't see any chieftains either rolling out there. Makes it competitive, makes it fun, and kind of each season will probably meta seems to flex this a little bit with updates and changes in the patch. And I think this has been a pretty fun season so far.
Well, it's definitely been more entertaining than I think a lot of people expected it to be. There's been some games that have been won and lost that weren't expected to, and it's been fun to see, and it will definitely continue to be so here as we get ready to head into our next game of the night with FHS on attack and Popcorn on defense.
I'm all for subverting expectations, so it's great that people are surprised by this. And hopefully they're interested, and we want people to continue to be interested. We really appreciate you guys being here tonight. So we want to thank you guys for being here tonight and being a part and joining us, Edge and myself, and Viral, and the rest of the team.
Yeah, and as we go in, we have FHS on the attack on Cliff with 2 113s, a Batchat 25T, an STB, and a TVP. And Popcorn bringing a Batchat, a CS63, 2 STBs, and a TVP as well. So HP slightly in FHS's favor by about 1,000.
Interesting, yeah.
But it looks kind of like the typical run that FHS does here. My bet is Bix is going to play in the H2 rock area, and then try to farm the CS63 as it tries to take the hill.
Yep, and are we going to see another just, hockey brawl where they grab each other's jersey and keep punching each other in the face till there's one person left? Now we do see the TVP flexing the H position that you mentioned previously, which is strong position for stopping that hill push. But look at Boris right here.
And now we have, well, they sent the CS63 over to the bush in the D3 corner. It's a good spot to be able to get some shots diagonally into like the F6, the
Sure.
G6 line. Trouser Snake though, getting farmed by Bix in that TVP down there in the bottom, and dropping to 475 HP.
Yeah, he's hurting at this time. Interesting to see how Built Differently and Tank Destroyer are playing right now. It's cautious but careful.
Well, they're waiting, right? They've bled
absolutely.
the Batchat as it tried to take the hill, or the CS63 rather, as it tried to take the hill, and they don't know where the other CS63 is, which is, I think, their primary concern here. Because I don't think Boris has shot at anybody. Now, Jan Toronto in the TVP is making a breakout. He is going to get spotted as he rounds this corner by Zero in that bush. But it's not going to... He's quick enough that he's not going to bleed any damage to it. Boris and the CS63 dropping off the backside of the ridge. And it does look like they're going to try to make a push onto Bix here in his TVP. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like they're doing. Jan Toronto now trying to get around the corner, dump his clip into the side of a 113. And it looks like Tank Destroyer and Zero might be in a bit of danger here, as Vova and the Batchat has taken the hill, but he's bleeding a ton of damage, dropping to 366, and I don't think he's going to actually manage to pick up the kill on Trouser Snake here.
Wow. $366 to 88.
Yeah, and they're just not waiting. And the STB now taking the hill. But it does look like the STB and Tank Destroyer have realized that, they had the advantage here, and they're going to push Miles to try to pick up an easy kill here. Vova will definitely go down here as he's getting pushed. You can hear him right now. He's dropped to 2 HP total. And Miles Breach is still alive. Vova will go down, not getting off another shot. He did manage to sink one into the STB that took the ridge. But now Tank Destroyer kind of caught out in the open as Jan Toronto is putting some shots into him from that TVP. Now, Built Different can probably take control of the hill here, but FHS has kind of realized what's going on. Awuger has dropped to about 605 HP, and he's getting chased down now by Jan Toronto and Boris in that CS63.
Can he break contact? Can he get away?
He is definitely not going to get away. Jan Toronto is going to push him. Yeah, and there he goes. Oh, Bix is going to drop there, and we've seen this once before. Popcorn is in kind of a better position here.
Sure.
As now Built Different is up on the hill trying to put some pressure into the STB, but he overshoots, I think, trying to go for the Batchat here, but instead of pushing Trouser Snake out, he's going to bleed a shot of HP and pick him off. He's bouncing a shot from the other STB, but now he's getting farmed by Boris and that CS down by their spawn point.
And FHS still holds an HP lead at this time.
Yeah, they do, but it's really in those
It's going away quick. Yeah, it is. Tank Destroyer and Built. Curious. How do you think this has developed so far? Have you been surprised by any of the developments? Because
as far as this game goes, it's lasted a lot longer than the typical Cliff game that we've seen. Both of these teams have they've elected it to try to. Both of them are trying to bait the other into making a mistake,
That's
and
what it feels
they've
like.
both of them have kind of taken the bait respectively.
Like Boris is positioning himself to cover might be Giants, and it's a bit of a stalemate right now, or at least a standoff.
Tank Destroyer there, he is going to manage to pick up the STB, but he bled a lot of HP doing it with that 113. Built Different still alive though. Boris not in a position though to get a shot into him. And Zero though has been lit now by the TVP, and he's going to get a full clip in, dropping Zero down to 528.
Ouch.
And evening off that HP advantage that FHS had.
And now with Popcorn with a slight advantage. As far as HP goes.
Yeah, only by about 100, so it's not really that much. Now, Built Different does know that he was on reload, but bad timing here as he hesitated, and Yantron was able to get reloaded here just in time, and I think that that kind of spells doom here for FHS, as now Yantron is just making a run for it. But he's not going to get out in time. Boris in the CS63 now trying to get a shot. He does manage to sink one into Zero. They do know where he is now, but they only have 184 HP between them, and there's a minute and 42 seconds left on the clock. And it looks like Boris is just going to try to run for it now. He doesn't look like he wants to take the chance. And yeah, you can see he drove towards the one cap to try to bait Zero and Tank Destroyer into thinking he was going towards the A line, but
looped around. Yep,
managed to get away. Did he get spotted here? He did get spotted here, but he through the bushes, he picks up the kill on Zero, and now all that's left is a 25 HP, 113.
But a standoff right here. This is pretty. This is about as close as it gets.
Tank Destroyer kind of has to take this. He has to make this play because they lose regardless. And he picks the kill. Jesus Christ! Well done, Tank Destroyer. 113 on the move accuracy, easy for him. FHS picking up that win, making it again a tied series 3-3. On the jeez, well played.
Yeah, awesome match. Congrats to FHS for making that great. And Popcorn, I mean, that was about as razor edge as you get.
User joined your channel.
As we had a nice back and forth matchup between two teams that both were, as you said, there was different give and takes during different parts of that match. Looking at the stats right here, Awuber with 3294, Belt with 2359, Tank Destroyer with 2312 with 3 kills, Zero with 832, and Vova with 803. On the flip side, Jan Toronto with 3602. Boris with 2962. There might be Giants 2558, and then Miles Beach drops down to 1046, and Trouser Snake 827. That was fun. That was a great match.
Yeah, that was really well played to both teams. It really came down to a knife edge as far as the HP goes, and it definitely made for a thrilling run there. MVP of the match, definitely Tank Destroyer. They're picking up that clutch kill right at the very end, but Bix with 3,294 damage. I mean, he didn't get a kill, but he managed to keep that TVP gun working the whole game, and it really made a difference as far as whittling back Popcorn's HP advantage at some point.
And looking at what we have right now, it looks like the next one is Prokhorovka. Proc. That's going to be fun. That's a fun match to have these two teams face off on. And looking at it, I believe Proc was chosen by, that was FHS.
Yes, it is. 5 Manticore strat. Here we go.
Yeah, easy and done. Should we even play the match?
It's yeah, exactly.
5 Manticore. That would be that'd be special. That'd be something.
And another timeout was called, it appears.
Okay.
So we have an additional 60-second timeout before we go into the game. Proc should be fun to see. Both of these teams, if I remember correctly, have pretty successful runs on Proc. FHS more so, I think, than Popcorn, if memory serves. But it's still definitely not something that you want to laugh at, because Popcorn is a very strong team.
I don't know. No, I think I think this is going to be fun. I am excited to see how each team unpacks, what tanks they take, whether we see a Manticore T100 or if we see something else entirely. We've seen a fun variety. And at this point in the season, people are getting familiar with the other team's strats. Do you start breaking out your surprise tank strats now, or do you wait more towards when we get closer to playoffs or to playoffs itself before you pull something a little bit different out of the hat?
Well, all of these teams are practicing every night. They're practicing
Sure.
against other teams. They're trying different things out. As far as like playing like an entire like throwing out their book, I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, no, I don't think anyone's pulling out a book, but I think adding a tank or two that for a slightly different look, because sometimes that slightly different look can give you a little bit of an advantage. It's just, I'm curious to see the way that'll be played, and Proc is such a good map because there's so many different ways you can play it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, there's so many different ways that you can play it, but there's also specific tanks that we've seen throughout the season that seem.
Oh,
to
we're
be...
yeah, we're gonna see certain ones. I imagine IS-7s. We'll probably see one of those. Super Conquerors seem to be highly meta specific, or not meta specific, just kind of supporting across all the meta for different maps. It feels like because we see a lot of them, and you know I wouldn't be surprised to see a Bat Chat either, or a CS63.
Well, we're definitely going to see CS63s. We're definitely going to see Bat Chats. Probably a Super Conqueror coming from defense. And in we go, and we definitely see Super Conquerors on defense. As FHS on their attack are going to bring Oberfeld Dix in the Super Conqueror, Volva in a Bat Chat 0 and a CS63, built different in an STB, and Tank Destroyer in a T100. And Popcorn bringing on their defense a 277, two Super Conquerors, a Bat Chat 25T, and a T100. And, you know... how do you feel about doing a listen in for this, so we can?
I think it would be fantastic.
See what's going on.
Which team would you want to listen in?
Well, let's go ahead and do FHS.
Okay, we're gonna jump up to FHS, guys. Right.
User left your channel is
There's
recorded.
basically a puddle around it.
No, we just know that there's it goes all the way around, you know, off the map.
Ooh,
Good.
let's go.
Double skunk mid. He hit that?
Okay.
I was nuts. 277 here, big has to be up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 277 there. Our CS needs to go take you right now.
Fuck, that's so
Driving.
unlucky.
Do we know where the bat is?
No,
So should
but
I
he's
just-
gonna be one line.
He has to be.
He has to
Well,
be
this
one
guy's
line.
hard poking.
Yeah, he's gonna be left in the spot.
Me and the other CS can make this crossfire pretty nasty on this S-Con, but you guys need to shoot him too.
200 is playing.
That's actually
middle.
really like.
They both fired. Batch
Is it
there.
the bat?
Dude, SCB needs to go kill 277 right now.
Huh? Okay.
SCB has to kill 277 with the bat. I might die.
They're just pushing over.
I'm gonna
Try and
go.
get a
Yo,
free
wait, we
kill.
just have to. We kill this, we kill this, we kill this. Over's gonna die. Zero, you need to be ready.
They're just gonna push him CS.
Yeah, Zero, you're fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to run.
I'm clipping Flounder.
If we kill 277, we still will be fine. I
I'm
could
in,
probably
like,
get
a
one
pretty
shot in.
shit spot.
That
I might be able to hit
277
him.
should
Hit
die.
him.
He really needs to die.
That T100 needs to die.
Okay, you was the
Nice.
only
If we
one
kill
fighting
200, it's fine.
200. Flounder, I'm getting lit.
Okay.
Yeah,
fine.
the Super Conqueror's
Like, Bat
cross.
needs to go take something. Bat
Super
needs to
Conqueror's
we look at
over.
one line.
Actually,
We'll kill 200, then there's a two-shot bat.
no, bad chat.
Where's the bat?
Bat is on mid, like somewhere here.
Like, Bat just go find me. Yeah, to run.
Super
I
Kong
don't-
fired from
Like I don't think
I can't hit him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fucked.
Where the fuck? Zero?
Tanks that dump down.
Okay.
That was the only way he could get out.
Nah, he should have went this way. He could have went this way.
Wait, why? Why does he need to get out?
No, because
He
He
the
just
S-Con's
stays on hill.
No, he was here.
I was in the building.
And there was two super conks going over the rails at him.
Yeah,
No,
why didn't
tanks
you go
that
this
dump
way?
down, like I can't leave. I'm dead.
It's technically possible.
I don't think so. I might take 3 to kill you, so you might
Look
get
forward.
nice.
Forward. Actually, no, it doesn't matter.
I'm just trying to bait at this.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, the X-Con might try to hit you. Nice.
Nice.
Two-shot bat and one-shot 200.
Yep. Bat is right here. He's not on the hill. Bat is like right here.
Nice
User
kill.
left your
Nice.
channel.
Bat fired 2, 3. There's
Not
bat.
if you can If we kill a bat, we might be
Can
fine.
you destroy the building there?
Super comp's looking
Yes.
for me. I can't.
It's destructible.
Can't see.
You fired?
You can spot the bat through that bush, yeah.
I
No,
can't.
I guess
There's bat.
not.
I missed.
He's clipping. Or might have one. He might have
I
one.
need you to hit him once.
I have the kill maybe.
Good, I'm just gonna fucking leave
I'm
them.
flipping.
We need to play fucking Vision over here. Like,
I
we
was
need to
gonna
get
say,
away.
you could play Hill and they can't leave. These two can't leave. You should play Hill.
No,
Spot
the
them
super
from-
comp's right there.
Oh fuck.
You need to get in the
Oh,
tree.
you should have gone low. You should have gone
I'm not
into the
leaving.
water.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
You should have used the tree line to leave. I don't know, man. Had Zero gone out this way and not killed himself, like this game is very different. Because you can do a lot over here, drive up here, or do anything. Like driving down here is basically the worst decision that you could possibly make on this map.
Channel switched. User was moved to your channel.
We'll kind of let them discuss amongst themselves a little bit there, as this game is pretty much decided at this point. With Vova down to about half HP and both of those Super Conquerors back as well. Well done to Popcorn here. Now, Vova... Well, I mean, if Vova manages to ammo rack a Super Conqueror here, I guess anything is possible, but those two shots he needed to 10.
Miracles can't happen. Just it doesn't look like it's going to happen this time.
Yeah, definitely not. And with that, Popcorn is going to pick up its fourth tonight, and actually put themselves on game point. So FHS, they need to win this. They need to win this next game that they're going to have.
They do, and if they want to continue to be either in first place, or they need this win, because this win will jump them up to first place. They'll be 2 points ahead of J-Lift, and they'll be in a pretty good position. If they can they have to find 2 more matches, though. It does look like Popcorn has a little bit of momentum. Looking at that, Boris with 106 fantasy points, 3191 damage with 3 kills. So Boris getting it, along with the other Super Conqueror with 2 kills and 2988, they might be giants. Just a fun match overall. There was some back and forth. It sounded like there was some questioning of Zero, but on the whole, just a pretty tight match, all things considered.
Yeah, there were definitely some misplays you could hear, just from them in this game. Excuse me. You'd hear the misplays. Zero falling off the cliff into the bowl there that ultimately cost him his tank, and then some of the shots that came in that were just well played shots. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what FHS is going to bring out here, because the defenses are ultimately much easier on these maps. So they have a chance to pull it back and make it a 4-4, which will send us into overtime. I'm kind of hoping that they do, because that means my prediction has a possibility of being correct. But they need to make sure that they win this. Otherwise, Popcorn pulls the series as a 5-3. And with that, we have about 30 seconds before we go back into our next game on this Steel Series Community League Major League game night between FHS and Popcorn.
And we want to thank you all for stopping by tonight. We greatly appreciate you guys spending your Wednesday night with us as we celebrate the Steel Series Major League with 2 great teams such as FHS and Popcorn. And they've given us a pretty good match show so far at 4-3 at this time. So we have 2 Super Conquerors, 2 Batchat 25Ts, and a T100 out of FHS. On the flip side, Popcorn, we have an Object 277, a Super Conch, a Batchat 25T, a CS63, and a T100 LT. Interesting setup. I like both teams' picks. What about you, Edge? Do you like their what they're kind of leaning towards with their tank picks?
I think the 2 Super Conquerors are good picks. The 2 Batchats might be a little bit of a risk, because once they're out, they're on reload. So it'll take them a little bit of time to get back into a fight if there is one. But they also have the potential to be sneaky and dump out a full clip. Their full clip will still do 1900 damage on average to an enemy tank, which will eliminate an E100, eliminate a Batchat, but it won't kill a CS63 flat out. Now we have both of the T100s making that mid-run, Tank Destroyer making the run across the open area. Looks like he's going to spot the T100 and the Super Conqueror, and Jan Toronto, though, lagging a little bit behind. I think it was a little bit by design, though, because he was giving the 2 Super Conquerors time to get into a position. But by getting lit by Tank Destroyer, he does bleed a shot of HP from the Super Conqueror moving into that position.
And as you said, defense does have a bit of an advantage on these maps. And watching Tank Destroyer catch some airtime as he crosses over to the east side of the map in the rail yard.
Now, I know that we just listened in to FHS, but I think we need the opportunity to listen in to Popcorn here, who are just above us as well. Let's go ahead and hop up there and listen in. If
User left your channel.
Not speaking
User joined
in,
your channel.
if they're not speaking in English, we'll come back.
User left your channel and your channel is recording.
Убейте бата.
Помогите с конем.
Илег, добьешь?
Второй бат вот здесь стоит.
Убил? Может, давай этот бат просто.
Он в КТ.
Куда? Я просто в него поеду.
Один шот, один шот.
Блядь. Нам нельзя упарываться, нам надо бриллиант.
Ну так откидывать. Добейте, не сейфтесь. Аккуратно. Нас не пикай больше. Здесь тут.
Well, they were definitely not speaking English, that's for sure.
No, they weren't. And as they were setting up there, the battle has been fully underway. It's interesting to see the bleed that's already happened. As we're down to Miles, Boris, and Jan Toronto on the side of Popcorn. On FHS, we've got the two Super Conks and T100 of us. So Uber, Zero, and Tank Destroyer still alive.
Yeah, they are. It's a much closer game than it was, but FHS does have a pretty good HP lead here. But that can all change very quickly because most of that HP is centered right around Zero at the moment.
It is.
Now, Tank Destroyer in the T100 is down in that B5 rock area. It's actually a good spot because he can get some eyes if they decide to make a play for the one cap. Because remember, FHS is on defense, so it's their game. They have to wait. They can wait out the timer.
They can. Kind of curious to see how this will end up coming out. Getting a bounce there for Zero.
Zero, though, bleeding a lot of HP to this 277 as Jan Toronto with that T100 is able to just completely outspot him. And these 277s are able to... This 277 is able to just kind of pop up and get a shot into his lower plate at ease. And Zero's bled, you know, almost 2/3 of his HP, or a third of his HP at the moment.
To see how this play out because FHS definitely had a bit more HP than they did just a few minutes ago. I'd say just a minute ago. But let's see how it continues to play out because this is still FHS having a little bit of an advantage HP wise. But do you think positioning wise, Popcorn has a bit better position at the moment?
At the moment, I think FHS actually has the better position because they're covering both of the cap entrances. Popcorn has to make the push here. Zero's in a good spot with that Super Conqueror, but he can get a rest here pretty effectively. And it looks like Jan Toronto did actually manage to spot Bix here in the Super Conqueror that's further back. Bix dropping to 8 HP, but Jan Toronto not spotted yet. He tries to get the pick and just doesn't do it. CS63 misses his shot as well.
Bounce across everywhere.
And Miles Breed getting picked off by Tank Destroyer. And I don't think FHS is going to win this. Tank Destroyer trying to make the run.
Can he get clear? Clears the track, so he has broken contact.
And for those of you that are Russian speakers that might have had the opportunity to listen in with us as we were listening to Popcorn, if there was some TOS stuff that was said, we do apologize. There is a lot of passion that's thrown around by some of these players, and you know, it doesn't matter what language you speak in. It definitely does happen that way.
These guys wear their hearts on their sleeves, and when we do listens, you're getting raw footage, guys. You're not getting anything pre-produced. You're just getting the raw emotions of the team while they're trying to win as hard as they possibly can.
Yeah, and at this point, Tank Destroyer is going to have to do the hard carrying here as he tries to get the peak to get the reset, but Boris snapshots those.
Great shot.
Manages to get the hit on the Tank Destroyer. Tank Destroyer, though, picks up Jan Toronto.
Wow.
And will Tank Destroyer once again carry the hopes and dreams of FHS here to keep this game going?
That Boris is coming at him hard, though.
Yeah, he's coming at him hard. He's got 1 minute and 48 seconds that he needs to pick up. Boris, though, in speed mode, does manage to capture that, get that shot off. And he needs to play... Tank Destroyer needs to play it smart here. He gets another shot in, and it's... Oh, God, they're both one-shots to each other now.
Oh, yeah,
no, Tank Destroyer! Oh, no, he hit the rock! Oh, no, Tank Destroyer is so close. Oh,
happen,
and
guys.
Boris picks up that win for FHS, a complete reversal of that game on Cliff. And I don't know if that's just wargaming textures, if it was just a minor panic. We'll have to watch the VOD, but definitely a heartbreaker there as he was bringing it back pretty well.
Close matchup. Both teams fighting, scrapping tooth and nail to get the win. Boris getting 3 kills, 37-13, 102 fantasy, 73% accuracy. Definitely being their first team at the end. Congratulations on Popcorn for winning 5-3. No small feat. FHS is a great team. And on the flip side, you had Zero, Tank Destroyer, each are at 2,400, 2,300 points of damage. Uber at 1,800, Bill Different at 1,700, and Bova down at 1,554. They Might Be Giants and Jan Toronto both at 1,500 and 1,200, as respectively. Trouser down at 813. That was a fun match to watch unpack because it kind of went back and forth. We kind of had their fun little sine wave as we saw back and forth play from both teams on that. And in the end, yes, it did not work out 4-0, but I mean, we're talking, that's a razor's edge right there.
Yeah, and ultimately it was just, you know, it's a heartbreaker. But, you know, Popcorn picking up the win 5-3 over FHS. FHS by no means should be ashamed of that. There were just, you know, small mistakes. Everybody makes them. And they'll definitely be resurging here to make a replay on this. And with that, guys, we will be taking about an 8-minute break or so before the next set of games between the Bear Force 1 and Team Moist. So we will be going to a bit of an intermission here, and we hope you stick around to enjoy this next series of games on the SteelSeries Community League.
See you guys in just a few minutes.
Trying to hold on to something that we'll never know. Anytime to like you, we can't afford to fall. I'm on my knees, looking up at the wall. Need protection. too afraid to lose. Trying to hold on to something that we'll never know. And in times like these, we can't afford to fall. And I'm on my knees, I got nothing at all. I need protection.
Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to match day 11, hour 760 of the Community League.
It's not been that long. It's great to be here, guys. We appreciate you guys being here. And these are kind of the stats that we had from our last match. The final wrap-up with Built being at the high of FHS with 22333. And now we have Bear Force 1 taking on Team Moist. So we chatted about this a bit before broadcast, but what is your feeling? What does Moist have to do to find a way to win this match?
Well,
I think that Ponder tells the tale right there.
Nexus needs to not flip. He needs to win his 1v1s.
Seen Thursday playing fairly solid.
See, I'm making jokes, right? I'm making jokes, but in all reality, Team Moist their players are much better players than I am. What they really need to do to win is they need to continue working together. I don't know if it's a situation where they just haven't played together enough, or because they are a relatively new team. But I make jokes about them, but individually they're good players. They need to get comfortable with each other, I think. And if they can do that, I think that they can give Bear Force 1 a challenge. That being said, how much of a challenge, I don't know, which is why I think I'm going to do 5-1 in favor of the Bears for this evening.
I'm going to agree with you. I think 5-1 is fair. Now, what I'm getting from what you said is that Moist needs to put in the work. They need to grind and grow as a team and to get that underneath their belt before they can hopefully continue to grow and become more connected to each other. And now we've got the map picks. If you want to jump into this real quick.
Oh yeah, so we've got Himmelsdorf and Runeberg each banned respectively by the teams. Then we've got Mines to start off, followed by Cliff, Ghost Town, Sand River, and Prokhorovka. And just to kind of add something to basically what you were saying is they need to put in the work. It reminds me of the fact that just a little bit ago we were making comments about these teams are practicing every night, and I saw Nexus pop up in my chat and make a joke about practicing every night, as if they weren't doing so. So my comment would be that as one of the weaker teams in the league, my hopes would be that they would be practicing every night, because they want to get better. They want to maximize their reward for the amount of effort and time that they put into this. And if they're not, then that's unfortunate. And minor league is always an option as well. But for this matchup, Bear Force 1, they've kind of been hovering around the center of the pack so far. They haven't been doing particularly poorly. They haven't been doing particularly well. They've kind of turned it around a little bit. They are performing more to what we have expected them to do earlier on in the season. So I think that we have an opportunity here I think Bear Force 1 has an opportunity here to catapult themselves into like third or fourth.
They'll be tied for third, along with FHS and Thermatitos.
Yeah, I think they have a real opportunity to kind of catapult themselves back into that top tier spot. Will they do it against Team Moist? We'll have to see ultimately, right? Because anything can happen.
Yeah, we joke, but guys, until the battles are played, we don't know the results. We have to kind of see how it plays out. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, and that's kind of the fun part of the SteelSeries Community Major League. And we appreciate you guys being part of that journey with us tonight. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Absolutely.
Less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, we have about 30 seconds before we head into our first match on Mines. Second time in a row after not seeing it for 5 weeks, so this should be entertaining to see. Now, I do take into consideration some of what my chat says, and they seem to all agree that a defense is a better side on this map. So we shall see as we go in with Bear Force 1 bringing an E100, a 277, a Super Conqueror, a Batchat 25T, and a 430U. And Team Moist bringing 2 E100s, an IS-7, a Batchat 25T, and a CS-63 for their defense.
Yeah, interesting. That's a lot of E100s on Mines. That's an interesting amount of E100s. No grill this time, though.
Yeah, no grill this time, but I think that they're not going to play that either. I think this is kind of an aggressive mid play. They're going to keep the E100s probably back a little bit. They'll try to get him into a better position. But you can see right away the Batchat and the CS63, they're just aggressively taking control of the hill area. We need to switch sides, Viral, because I was getting confused there for a moment. But the colors need to be flipped here. But Bear Force 1 are now taking aggressive positions on the island. They've got December and Muscles in good spots. Muscles in that little bush area with the Batchat. It's sneaky enough that he can get spots into anything trying to cross the island area. And he might have spotted Melodious there, but possibly not. It might have just been outside of his range. But the big big notice here is the lack of both OP Hacker and Dark Ninja here on Bear Force's team, as they have brought in Floppy for this game.
Yeah, that's very interesting because Dark Ninja's kind of always been one of the strongest players around, I would argue, and he's incredibly dangerous in that Batchat 25T. Anytime he gets near an autoloader, he's dangerous.
Absolutely. Now, with those two tanks on cap, they do have... it is a little bit of a risk for them. Like, that cap is pretty exposed, and with Melodious here, he should be able to get the spot. But December's in a good position that he's actually able to get some shots in there. He does spot Octobear and November, it looks like, as they tried to make that... as they tried to get the shots into Melodious, but they still only have 13 seconds now to respond to this, and Bear Force 1 is set up to intercede that northern push coming from the Batchat and the CS63. They've got him on crossfire right now. Floppy, just all he has to do is basically farm out these tanks, and that is not going to be enough, it looks like, as Bear Force 1 is going to completely cap out and pick up that first game in... Oh god, I don't think that was even a 4-minute game.
That was quick.
And that ultimately came down to they didn't rotate fast enough. Melodious should have stayed on that corner, bled his HP, taken the shots that he needed to, and made sure that he got at least one reset in there, and ultimately he didn't.
And it just shows sometimes if you're not quick enough, the matches will be over before you know it, and that's a perfect example.
Yeah, and that was a 2-minute game, so not a lot of damage done. Nobody cleared 2K. All the caps, the cap was the main thing, so not a lot of fantasy points either for anybody there, but a good, solid win for Bear Force 1 to start off the night, and I have a feeling that that is kind of what we're going to see this evening. Would you like to do a listen-in to Team Moist for the next Minds game?
I think that would be great. I think that would be really, really a fun thing to do.
Fantastic. Well, we will do that in just a little bit because we have to give our teams time to switch their tanks, switch their lineups, and get themselves into position for their next set of games. Now, with this, as always, just to kind of reiterate the policies, it's a best of 9 series, so first to 5 wins, attack, defense on both, and each team will get a chance to attack and defend on both maps. So we've seen our first game on Mines. Now we'll switch sides, so it'll be Bear Force 1 on defense and Team Moist on the attack.
Yep. We had a great first match, and I'm hoping this one lives up to it. I'm hoping that we see the best of both of these teams right now. I know we were talking a bit about Team Moist earlier, but we'll see what they can pull out. And, you know, if they can walk out of this map being tied 1 apiece, that's no small accomplishment either. You have to start somewhere.
Yeah, they do have to start somewhere. I'm just hoping that they'll learn from this and get themselves into a better position. And we can hear the countdown timer now. As we go into our next game, we have Bear Force 1 bringing an E100, a Super Conqueror, a 5A, and 2 Batchats. And we have Team Moist bringing a 2 IS-7s, a Super Conqueror, a Batchat 25T, and a TVP for their attack. So let's go ahead and hop up to
Team Moist.
Team Moist.
User joined your channel.
Let's get this show on the road.
Okay, they're going hill then, right?
They're hill. Do you want 2 7-7s to take island? No,
they're not hill, they're not hill. Are you sure you spotted the island in Nexus?
I should.
Okay, then I'm gonna spot around. Eskong needs to go in the drop down and looking towards behind us.
Yes.
Because the Batchats might come. Batchat goes here, obviously. And just take control of the island for now. Just make sure. I honestly don't think. Nexus.
No, there's someone. They're blind shooting something.
Nexus, are you positive there's no
I'm
one
not
on fucking Gavin?
100%. They might have gotten someone past someone. I might have done it wrong. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm gonna proxy Underhill now. I think they have a guy here, one of the bets, because that's kind of an option.
They
for
could be playing like a 9-line repush hill.
Yeah, I believe that's possible
Do
as
you
well.
want to push 1-2 now?
I think you push 1-2 with a double I7.
Okay, so you come back.
Interesting. That's aiming island, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, now he dropped. This is good. I think you start going.
Yeah, we're going now.
The double bet is missing. I think they're just on island. So I think Nexus will need to react. If they have double bet on island, Nexus needs to cross as well. No one can shoot you except for the
User
S-Conk.
joined your channel.
No one else can shoot you. Hit him with it, boys.
I think no, nothing's on island. It's pretty likely that they're playing here and they're gonna go repush hill. So I'm already. Yeah, nothing's on island.
I'm going to spot behind.
One of you should go to the.
Tell me when you're spotted, please.
I'm lit. They're probably from the S-Conk.
One fired.
What, Sue?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, didn't hit. You missed.
Yeah, you missed.
I have no idea where the bets
They're
are.
gonna repush
Probably
hill now.
only the 5
Yes, indeed. I agree.
Do you want us to
So
go
get ready to
straight
pre-aim
to
hill.
cave?
Get the S-Conk to the rock again. S-Conk to the rock. S-Conk to the rock.
It's too late.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay, the bets are gonna come up, guys. Ryan, you need to spot the bets, and we need to fucking destroy them from.
Should we go K4?
Yeah, here they come. Muscles. We kill Muscle before he gets a clip off. Muscles.
I don't have shots.
Okay, let's go. He's behind the bush.
Just farm this.
So we
Okay,
have to
now
come K4.
I'm gonna try to push November. Not possible. I might live. S-Con kill me. This is. How much did we bleed?
No, not shots.
Need to get our
Alright,
I7s
I've
to
lit
fight.
you.
I think you need to go for the S-Con with I7s.
Yeah. Sue,
Ryan, how are you looking?
Okay, right now. About to push me though.
Go shot him back.
Yeah, they got Rhino.
Sue, you need to with me, dude.
Nexus, how many do you have?
Can we not put the S-Conk on cap? I have only 2 shells.
We can try, yeah, but you're kind of fucked there. We can definitely try the S-Conk on cap, but we need to push out.
Okay, he's coming in. Nexus.
I can give E1 up. No, I can't. No,
Here,
that's
I'll
not
spot it.
And then fire. It's so lucky.
Sue, man, you need to come here earlier.
I'm getting shot with the rat chat.
Yeah, no, you can still come there safe though.
Cap might have been an option. Like as soon as I died on the hill, we might have.
None of my
just
snaps are
cap.
working.
Do you think we could have done more damage on the hill, Cross, or not?
No, I missed.
No,
one
we only
shot.
have time
we
for one shot.
we knew they were gonna repush hill and we still gave them picks. I don't know.
I mean, I'd say if we don't lose Ryan and Nexus for this, I'd say it's fine. If we get Nexus here and S-Conk on cap, with the IS-7s controlling K-line, it's actually fine.
You just shouldn't stay on the hill. If we know we
I
can
cannot
take,
really leave. I did a clip.
you can just drop off the backside before we push.
But then what's the point?
We didn't spot them cross, so we can put one on the cap. And then
Because if you're
User
not
left
up
your
there,
channel.
they don't have to push up the hill. We don't get any of that lead. But you should. I think you should.
Channel switched.
Track hit.
User was muted.
Well, and just like that, it is now a 2-game series to Bear Force 1.
And it was interesting to hear because you kind of saw the anatomy of when things were starting out in a bit in their favor, and then slowly as it swung back over to Bear Force 1. It was very interesting. When we get the opportunity to listen in, it kind of tells an interesting story about the battle itself.
Well, you know, the big thing that I noticed throughout that game was the fact that they pushed the 2 IS-7s down the line, and the IS-7s then just kind of proceeded to sit there.
That's true.
You know, they took map control and then did nothing with it. So definitely a misplay for Team Moist. Bear Force 1 kind of picking up that game pretty handily there. Floppy and the Super Conqueror doing 3,400 damage. November with 2,600. December with 2,500. Muscles with 2,100. So, well played to them. Definitely some communication errors and some meshing errors going on with Team Moist.
happens. As you said, young teams, you're getting in, you have to figure out how each other works, who's going to work in what places, positioning, the whole 9 yards. You need to kind of grow into your kind of positions and just to get to know each other fairly well. Now, you mentioned to me previously the Bear Force 1 is pretty much unchanged or with just minor changes since last season, correct?
From last season, no. I think they're exactly the same.
So
you know, they've
time
had
to get used to. Yes, okay.
Yeah, and that's why people have tended to think that they are one of the better teams, because of one, they're great players, but two, they know each other. They know each other well enough to play it correctly. But you know, that was a quick ending to our series on Mines.
And Mines was picked by Moist.
Yeah, it was, and you know, I think that just comes down to just how much better the Bears are playing this evening.
Absolutely. Bears are staring at that chance to be tied for third, being in striking distance of first and second place. It means a lot to them, and as you mentioned, if they've been playing together for a while, they know each other well, and they're not going to give Moist an opportunity. I don't see them giving much of any opportunity to Moist to try to start to carve a way back into this match, even at 2-0 right now. I see, especially with Cliff coming up.
No, absolutely. And I forget, did you give your prediction?
I said 5-1 as well. I did match yours.
Okay.
And I was close to 5-0, but I was hoping Moist would carve something out right here, but we'll see. As it's going right now, Bears seem pretty confident in their play.
Well, the Bears definitely do seem very confident, and you know, there always is that possibility for Team Moist to pull back a win. So you know, anything is possible. I'm still hoping that they'll be able to get at least one win out of this. You know, it kind of helps with morale, and they feel like they're starting to do things right. And maybe it'll help them get motivated. But I think for this first Cliff game, would you like to listen into the Bears?
Yeah, I was going to suggest that since we just listened to Team Moist, that we should flip over and listen to the Bears. And I'm kind of curious, as I wonder, did some of their players just not be able to make it tonight? Because that can happen sometimes. Or I'm curious to hear what's going on.
For who? Team Moist?
No, I thought Bear Force 1 was missing a player.
Oh no, it's just Dark Ninja who I think is probably working or doing schoolwork.
Okay. That's kind of what I was thinking, because yeah, Dark is such an important part of this team. That's what I'm curious to hear how they'll play without him. So far, it hasn't been an issue.
Yeah, so far I would say that it hasn't been an issue, but you know, I don't want to be mean or anything, but yeah, it's not like the competition has been particularly stiff either. But we do have a little bit of time before we go into our next game. We're kind of just waiting here. I don't know what's going on.
Sometimes getting everyone set in position, getting play ready to go takes a bit. And being an admin is never easy. So a shout out to Peace and all the other admins out there right now. And again, to Viral for running the league, getting everything sorted out. We greatly appreciate that. And then also the Steel Series, because they're providing the prizes and the sponsorship of this season of the Major League and Community Major League. And we really appreciate that, because it's a great opportunity to be here. I've got my Steel Series headset, my mouse, a mouse pad that's massive is a good word. And yeah, it's been a very fun league so far this season. We're just over roughly halfway through, I believe, of the league. So make sure you're tuning in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, guys. We have some great matches coming up, and I'm excited to see how the story continues to unfold in the league this year.
Well, it's definitely been unfolding in different ways. I don't think anybody expected Team Popcorn to be top of the league, but they currently are. You know, they've been doing pretty well.
They have, but you have J-Lift, which is striking distance away. They're 1 point. I think they're 1 or 2 points off of them, and then 1 point underneath them is if it keeps going the way we think it is, Bear Force 1 picking up, there'll be 3 teams tied for third. So we're talking 5 teams stacked within 1 win of each other at the top. I think that's fantastic. That means it's a hyper-competitive league where everyone's kind of having their own moments. Yes, some people can say, well, so-and-so is not, sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. Well, if they don't show up, it's on them. It's just as much as a throw. You don't show up to a match.
Okay.
Oh,
there we go. Okay, now they've loaded back in. I think there was a mod issue there, but for the first game on, and we've got a Ghost Town background, not Okay, I don't know what's going on. We should be on...
Just go with it. It's my fault.
Okay.
I copied the wrong maps.
That's fine. We should be on Cliff. Yeah, we're on Cliff. Bear Force 1 on defense, bringing a 113, an E100, a Super Conqueror, a Foch B, and a Bad Chat 25T. And Team Moist bringing an E100, three 277s, and a Foch B as well. And once this battle goes in, we will go ahead and hop up and listen in to Team Bear Force 1.
And it's Ghost Town.
User left
It
your
is
channel.
Ghost Town. Okay.
User left your channel. Channel switched.
Our comp is kind of.
Hey, yo, they're doing listening.
What's up? What side am I on again?
Oh, I gotta shoot the bus.
Just hang out.
This
We're
side,
not
this side,
splitting.
this side, this side,
Because
this side.
they might
Yeah.
yellow us, dude.
Wait, what if he just stays on the corner, down low?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
It
that's
stays
fine,
like on a
it's
low
fine.
corner.
And I go hold down here, spotting in.
Do you know? I guess
This
it's
makes
just
the
doesn't
angle
really
of the
matter.
turret.
Oh,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
here
yeah,
they
yeah,
go.
yeah. Back chat back now. Oh, okay.
Oh, he pens my
No,
turret.
back chat comes around now.
Okay, they're gonna have 3 on. This is another one of his YOLO strats. We're just gonna hold 3
They were
on.
looking for somebody YOLO here.
Push B will be here. Push B
Yep,
will be here.
I agree.
Octa, can you cover me?
I have to come in.
They're gonna over push this, by the way. That's what they do every time.
Oh,
Even
I
under
found the
behind.
100.
They're gonna push this way.
Yeah.
User joined your channel.
Back off. They're
There
pushing
it
Poppy.
Yep. Oh, they're pushing Poppy. Okay.
They're pushing
December,
across.
can we kill E100? December? Yes. Yes, we can. He's
Here,
permanent.
back up, let's shoot this guy.
I need one more. Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
I
one more.
bounced one, I bounced one.
It's fine. Put one more in. He bounced.
Reloading.
Yep. Reloading. I'm reloading. I'm reloading. Octa, shield for me.
Push B. I think Push B is
bounced.
reloading.
I can get one more shell out. He has to be. He
I
has
have
to be
20.
reloading.
I have 20, so if you can
I
hold.
have 20 as well. They're not gonna be able to hold.
Yeah.
Also try and get distance, maybe.
No, I can't. The Push B is gonna come to the left.
Octo's
Dude, I
not.
can't pen, dude.
Octo's not. And he can hold a little bit. Oh, that was bad.
Actually, I just have to send it into Aubrey.
They fired. Nice.
November, I think. I don't think you play distance here. I think you need to help me on cap, man.
November just got a kill.
Kill this guy. Yeah, just kill. Play back with the Posh B. Play back. Back chat comes in. Play back.
I have 3 shells. I have 3 shells. I can't
okay.
read. I don't know.
They're just gonna-
dead. It's over.
Yeah. Well, I think. Yeah. Oh wait, unless he picks up a kill. Oh my God, no way. Not over yet.
Okay, it's defense. It's defense.
Yeah, I shouldn't have put Could have got 2 more into Aubrey.
There's no dead bodies on cap, right?
No, there's 0.
Yeah, no Nexus. There's Nexus body. Which
Aubrey's gonna
they're
hold.
pushing.
Aubrey fired
Honestly,
3, I think.
If I'm being honest,
Maybe
like I
2.
feel like if you just
Yeah, come
poke
here. And then run away like this. So it looks like the Foch B is going to be against
How
this
much
wall.
health is the 277?
1600, right?
No, he's not. He's.
No, he's healthy.
I don't think so.
I just have to go for it though.
Yeah, I agree.
I reverse into it, I think. I have to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Play as wide as you can, okay?
Fuck. You just have to go for it.
Yeah. Shoot the Foch B if you can.
Yep.
Go to the 277.
Now you kill Foch B possibly? I tracked him. Nah, GG. Okay. I bounced too many. Actually, no,
I bounced a lot too, dude.
I bounced.
I critical hit a lot.
Yeah, I bounced 1 shot.
In those games, if I don't critical hit, you don't bounce. So.
I bounced.
Channel switched. User was moved to your channel.
Well, it appears that we are the bad luck charm.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't have the best luck on. Well, we were fine for popcorn, but as far as the other teams, we have not been the best luck for them so far.
Not at all. And just looking at those after battle results stream, Team Moist picking up that win, the first win over the Bears for tonight.
Well,
And,
if we were going to be right, we need them to pick one up at
Yeah,
least.
and there's the one.
But congratulations to them for finding a way to win. I mean, that's kind of what we were hoping they would do, is find a way to take advantage of the situation. And Bear Force 1 seemed a bit surprised by it as well, it seemed like.
Well, Team Moist kind of just pressed W and never let off the gas the whole time. They got themselves into positions where they were just kind of wolf packing. Initially, I'm pretty sure it was Floppy in the E100, and then they just continued through, picking up individual players as they went. And well played, Team Moist. It was a good strat.
Was. And looking at muscles, high with 29.16 for Bear Force 1. On the flip side, Audrey at 31.97. Both of them in the Foch B.
Yeah,
and
that the clip potential in the Foch, it's nasty if you get stuck in front of its gun.
It gets ugly really, really quickly. And I was curious about the way that they were that Aubrey was playing the Foch B, and but it worked. You can't comment about it it worked. So that's the important thing. And now it's 2-1, and Moist has the potential to possibly take the map.
Yeah, they definitely do. It is possible that they could pull a sweep here, because defense is ultimately easier than the attack. So we'll have to see what Team Moist are going to pull out of their bag of tricks, and see if they can pull another win out of Bear Force 1.
Absolutely. And just making an exciting matchup. And I'm really, I enjoy seeing it when each team is level and just doing everything they possibly can to try to find a win. And do you think we'll see major? Yeah, I'm curious to see the changes in tanks, or if there's changes in tanks of choices.
Well, coming from Bear Force 1, we've got a 113, two E100s, a Foch B, and a Batchat 25T. And coming from Team Moist, we've got an E100, an IS-7, a Super Conqueror, a Batchat, and a CS-63.
Muscles back on that Foch.
Yeah, he should be able to use that to pretty good advantage, to be able to get some good crossfires in there. With Team Moist lineup, though, and right away you can see Ryan Tech God and Aubrey are sticking together to try to take control of some sort of area of the south.
Are they looking for a one cap?
Well, it does look like that's the way that they are initially going, but with the way that Ghost Town is laid out, those caps are so close to each other that you can kind of play in between them and then pressure whichever one you have an advantage on.
The ability to flex is immense on this map. So
they're sending Nexus and an IS-7 up into A4, and I don't know why. It's not not a tank that I would send up there, because it's not the most accurate tank in the world. But
IS-7 best sniper tank, man. What are you talking about? I mean,
it feels like it sometimes, but
yeah,
definitely not right now.
But there might be some method to their madness. You never know.
This is true. We have seen things come out of these games much more different than before. But as of right now, Team Moist is in a pretty okay defensive position. They've got Melodious up high in the E100 watching the one cap, and they've got Tuesday in the back in a position where he can kind of flex around to get some he can put pressure on the two cap or the one cap if necessary. The Bears, though, it looks like the Bears are just trying to figure out where they are at the moment.
It's just a matter of placement, positioning, kind of figuring out what's going on. So
and it looks like the Bears have decided they're going to make a one-cap play as they send November up high. He's going up towards that A0 corner. They've got Floppy and December now playing the corners here, with Octobear kind of sneaking his way in. Now Nexus is staying hidden. He's on the backside up in the A3 ridge. He hasn't decided to pop himself and make his presence known, which is kind of a smart play by him, because I don't think that they would be making the one-cap play if they knew that the IS-7 was up there being sneaky.
And I'm kind of curious to see how this is, it's interesting to see the current positions. Everyone gets in a place. I'm looking at Tuesday and trying to see where he'll be able to go. Nexus is in the backfield. I'm afraid, unless they come to him, there's not as much he'll be able to do.
Well, they're in defense, right? They've got the two tanks in the south, and the Bears are playing kind of where they want the i7 wants them to play, or at least they were, but they have decided to flex around. They're now putting some pressure on the 2 cap. Nexus is going to have to move sooner or later, and I have a feeling that when he does decide to move, he's going to get farmed by that Bat Chat coming off the hill.
As long as the Bat Chat's still there.
That is, yeah, that is the other case, absolutely.
The cap is now on. I see an E100 beginning to move for Moist.
And
I don't think anyone's taking any damage yet.
No. Ryan Tech God took some. He did take a shot of damage from someone, but you know, I have a feeling that this might be like that the first game on Mines. I'm wondering if Team Moist is going to react in time, because they haven't really decided to start closing in. Now Tuesday is making his way in, but December and Octobear there are in a good position to provide crossfire. December watching towards Tuesday, and Octobear watching towards Melodious there. Floppy just needs to kind of stay on cap.
45 seconds.
And they did manage to get the reset. They did get the reset in with an HE shot coming in from, I'm pretty sure, Ryan Tech God, as Floppy was trying to peek that corner. But all he has to do is kind of back up, and he'll stay safe a little bit.
I have another 2 minutes, roughly a minute 48 left.
And Nexus has gone off the hill. He's now moved in to provide a little bit of support, but he's kind of in between.
It looks like that Bat Chat might have repositioned. That's why he didn't farm him.
Well, with Muscles here now tucked in, he's in a position that he can pop out and get shots, depending on where is needed. But it does look like Team Moist is trying to group up here a little bit. They bounced the reset off of Floppy and bleed some HP on Tuesday.
Ooh,
and with the addition of Octobear on there, it's dropped down. There's only 19 seconds left. December is going to have to go and take on Nexus here to keep Nexus from getting around behind. November coming in as well. They're going to pick up Nexus here. At least they should. But the E100 with that turret traverse is not going to be quick enough. He might get one more shot in here, but they're not going to be able to stop him from getting the reset shot at least. Except they do, because Nexus misses it. Nexus down a little bit. Ryan down to 1124. December with that 155. It's a good gun, but it's slow to reload, and I don't think he's going to do much here, as both Nexus and Ryan Tech God have managed to get around behind him. He gets one shot into Ryan, but both Nexus and him stay alive, and it's now a 3-on-4 game at this moment. And I'm pretty sure Muscles is about to be on reload, or is currently on reload, as Floppy is just getting completely torn apart. November in the back is just not going to be able to get in here quick enough. Now, Muscles is off reload. He does pick up the kill on Nexus, and he gets tracked.
Under 2 minutes left.
And he bounces that shot off Melodious. He does manage to get one shot into Melodious, but not before he goes down, and now all that's left is November with 348 HP to take on an E100 and a Super Conk.
And it looks like we could potentially be back at level at 2 apiece.
And this should be game here very shortly, as Melodious and that E100 just needs to connect a shot with November to pick him off.
November's good, but this is a pretty tall task. There's not a lot of time left.
No, there is not. And he does manage to bounce a shot. And he does manage to pick off. He does manage to pick him off. But now he's got one shot left. If he goes for a reload, he won't reload in time. So he's got to make this one shot count on a Super Conqueror. And I don't think... Oh, here it comes. Is it going to be HE from Tuesday, or is it going to be an APCR shot?
What would you do?
If I was Tuesday, HE.
Yeah, same.
And, oh, November. Oh. He bounces the shot. He's not going to reload in time. And Tuesday, in return, bounces the shot. And then finally picks up November there to make it a tied game series for Bear Force 1, ruining both of our predictions.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I like the fact that we're seeing Moist play a bit more confidently and going after it. So congratulations to Moist for taking the last 2 matches.
And with that, I'm pretty sure it's a tied series, but I'm pretty sure Bear Force 1 has now picked up the sweep on Mines, which was a Team Moist pick, and now Team Moist has picked up Ghost Town, which was a Bear Force 1 pick.
I think it's been counter team sweep night so far.
It definitely seems to be that way a bit, doesn't it?
So now here's my question, and this is for Viral if he's around. Is since that was Ghost Town, do we have Cliff next?
Yes.
Hey.
Great. Thank you for the confirmation, sir. And that's going to be fun because now each team have evened it all up. This will be an interesting one because as we've been saying in the past, is Cliffs can very much be a skill check game. It can be a game where individual skill really shines out, but we've also seen great strategy and tactics. I think Cliffs kind of been one of the more interesting maps that we've had to play so far this season.
Well, it's definitely been one of the more entertaining to watch, in my opinion.
Oh,
just because
absolutely.
The battles go in so quickly, and they tend to end really quickly. But the fights seem to be much more aggressive, so I tend to enjoy them quite a bit more. Now that being said, Mines is also that way, so we've seen it a bit different. I think it's possible that we see some slow play coming out of here, but it's also possible that we see a real quick play because the FHS popcorn game was pretty aggressive there, honestly.
There were different portions. There was the brawl in the beginning, and then it would ease up a little bit. Action would happen in one-on-one situations. So I think I'm hoping for both teams taking 5 tanks and running them against each other's face, and just kind of do what I call the hockey fight technique.
Well, it's definitely possible. That is for sure.
Grab a jersey and punch away. So.
Definitely is possible that we're going to see something like that here, because I imagine Bear Force 1 is kind of upset now. The one loss, okay, they were joking around, they were having a good time, they lost, but now I think they're probably thinking enough is enough.
Yeah, I imagine Bear Force is now wondering, we can't take them lightly. We just have to. We have to take them any way possible. Because at the end of the day, it's 3 points. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You want to get those 3 points no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're playing the best team or the worst team. If you don't get 3 points, that's not healthy as the season progresses.
Absolutely, and I apologize. I was just responding to somebody in my chat who was asking if we could turn down the volume of some of the shots, and I was telling them that unfortunately when you're in sniper mode, things just tend to be much louder for some reason, which is, not always fun. But as we go into Cliff, which is, oodles and oodles of fun, we've got December at a 277 Muscles and October in Batch at 25Ts, November in a CS63, and Floppy in an STB1. And from Team Moist, we've got Tuesday in a 113, Aubrey in a Batch at 25T along with Nexus, Melodious in a CS63, and Ryan Tech God in an STB. Those are mid-play tanks if I have ever seen them.
I hope so. I'm really hoping so. So, I don't know what you're blaming me for, Kermit, but in our chat, but
Yeah, and in we go. This is definitely going to be a mid-brawl here as both teams are just going to kind of smack into each other. Those CS63s should get to the area right around the same time, but it does look like November waited up a little bit in his to join up to make sure that Muscles was with him there. But Nexus in that batch almost flipping himself in the process as he took that mid-ridge area. Does try to get a shot in. Melodious trying to take the hill here, but Nexus dropping to half health in quick succession as both of those, the STB and the Bat Chat managed to get a shot into him. November now bleeding a lot of HP as well as he tries to take a position. December the 277 just kind of pushing Nexus back along with Octobear. But Octobear is going to have to close in this this distance here, as Muscles is going to be on reload here very shortly. And as he bounces a shot off of Aubrey, Aubrey managing to get the pick on Muscles, pulling it in advantageous of Team Moist here. November down to 458 damage, or 458 HP. December missing the shot on Nexus. Nexus missing a shot on December, but then managing to put one into December as well. And I think Nexus is on full reload now, as December should manage to pick him up. Possibly? No. Ryan Techgod is going to finish him off. And it's looking like a solid 5-0 sweep here on Bear Force 1 by Team Moist.
This is great. This is what we mean by a brawl here.
That it really is, and with that, Floppy is going to go down, leaving Octobear, the pride of Ravka, the only takedown alive for Bear Force 1, and it's going to be a 4-1 victory in favor of Team Moist, making it a 3-2 game series.
User left your channel.
Wow. Great play. Congratulations, Moist. This is kind of what we were hoping for. We were hoping for them to take advantage of the situation given to them. They have Bear Force 1. What are you going to do with it? Well, right now they're 3-2 in the lead. That's no small feat for them. So congratulations on Team Moist so far. And we want more. We want more of this aggression. We want more of this type of play. And Cliffs is a great map for it.
Yeah, it really absolutely is. And you can see, like, it's very easy to just kind of have things flipped on you there, and that's exactly what I think happened for Bear Force 1, as Team Moist now takes the lead here pretty resoundingly, making it a 3-2 game, or a 3-2 series.
3-2 series, and now Bear Force 1 has to begin to think, okay, what are we going to do now? How are we going to come back? Because now they have to worry about coming back. It was level before, now they're down. How is that going to play psychologically
User
to them?
joined your channel.
So I'm excited about this, because we get a chance to see Bear Force dig a little bit, dig down, and see if they can bring it back. Are they capable? Absolutely. I think Bear Force can easily come back in this. That's not a knock on Moist. I just think Bear Force 1 is a very talented team. But something we touched base on earlier is Dark Ninja's not here tonight due to work or for whatever reason, and maybe that's having an effect as well.
It's definitely possible.
He's famous for making clutch shots and making impossible situations possible.
It is definitely possible that, you know, Dark Ninja not being here is definitely having an effect on Bear Force 1, but I don't know. I think it might be a situation where Bear Force 1 is starting to get upset. They're starting to get angry. They're starting to they're starting to unravel a little bit. It's possible.
You hate to bring up the magic T word, but that could be playing into it as well.
The magic T word?
Tilt.
Oh, tilt. Yeah, I mean, that's possible.
Because unfortunately, it happens to every team. There's a moment, because like I said, these guys are highly passionate, highly competitive guys, and being put in a situation where things aren't going your way can sometimes cause friction.
Well, the Bears did call a timeout a few minutes ago. So
great call. Smart move.
We do have a 60-second timeout. So that'll give them the opportunity to kind of shake things off and maybe reassert themselves to kind of figure out what they're going to do to, come back against Team Moist. But if things keep going, it's looking it doesn't look too good for the Bears if things were to continue the way that they have been.
If Moist pulls off a win here, then they leapfrog, and they suddenly are in that vaunted 6th position, which gives them a playoff spot. So we were talking about where Bear Force 1 could end up being tied for 3rd. Moist gets a win, and they're suddenly in the top 6 teams. That's not a small achievement for them. And
no,
you're
it's
right.
Not. We've definitely seen some improvement here coming from Team Moist. We're Peanut Gallery over here. I was making commentary earlier, but I'll own up to it. They are playing significantly better today than I have seen them previously in the season.
The proof is in the literal pudding. The fact that they're winning 3-2 over a good team like Bear Force 1, it's fantastic. We have less than 15 seconds left to go, guys. I am fascinated to see how the 6th match will play out with Team Moist up 3-2. We were hoping for some good matches tonight, and so far our first series was fantastic, and our second series has been incredibly enjoyable to watch so far.
Yeah, instead of the blowout that we were expecting, we're getting a very close game series as we go into our second match on Cliff. And we have Muscles and Octobear both in a bat chat for Bear Force 1 on defense, November in a CS63, Floppy in an STB, and December in a TVP T5051. And from Team Moist on their attack, we have Aubrey and Nexus both in bat chats, Melodious in the CS63, Ryan Tech God, and Tuesday in STBs. Interesting.
We see the mix of that STB1. We talk about the DPM capability without being stuck on auto load, and then you have the bat chats on Team Moist with the CX63 kind of anchoring them out. And I like the mix. I like the mix on both teams. I think this will be interesting. Do you think they're going to risk it and again go straight for the mid-range and just go for it again?
That is exactly what it looks like they're doing, as Bear Force 1 is now aggressively moving into a position where they can play the mid-ridge. Team Moist as well. It's really going to depend on whether or not they're going to peel somebody off to kind of take control of the little donut area in the E3, F4 area. But it doesn't look like Team Moist is going to at all, as Melodious in the CS63 is just going to take an aggressive run up the hill to try to get into a position there. November are doing the same thing, but Nexus manages to catch him out, and November is going to have to abandon that attempt to get up the hill. November getting tracked out in the open as both bat chats now clip him down in quick succession. They're just going to push right over, right into Floppy's faces. It looks like Bear Force 1 sent Muscles off to the side, and Octobear now down to 300 HP before getting completely picked off, and it's just going badly in Team Moist's favor here as they are now up 4-2. Now, granted, it's Muscles and December who are both in autoloaders, so there could be a lot of damage done here very quickly. But I'm pretty sure December is on reload at the moment, and he is. He's going to be off reload very shortly. And it seems like Team Moist is aware of this as Aubrey is trying to get out of there desperately. December picking off Ryan Tech God, but he's alone now, facing 3 tanks, and now all 3 of these vehicles just need to turn around and push Muscles together, and that's another win for Team Moist, making it 4-2 in favor of them over the Bears.
A definitive win. That was something. That was fun to watch. They went all in, they put all the cards on the table, and it paid off.
Okay, that was a game. That was a sub 2-minute game, and Team Moist picked up another W and a clean sweep of Cliff here, as Bear Force 1 are not doing too hot tonight. Now there is plenty of time for them to rally. They still have another game, but 4-2 now, match point in favor of Team Moist. And what is our next match of the night, actually? Because I don't trust this thing that I'm looking at anymore. So I'm guessing it's Sand River, but I don't know.
I think Sand River is safe. Viral, is it Sand River?
Yes, it's Sand River. I just got
fantastic.
Ghost Town and Cliff backwards when I was copying and pasting everything.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. But holy moly, in Team Moist pulling out some serious W's here. And even if they lose this, containing Bear Force 1 to right around where they are. Even if Team Moist throws every single one of these next couple of games, Bear Force 1 is only going to gain that 1 point off of the draw win, right?
Yep. And we were looking for a statement game. When you're at the bottom of the standings, you need to make a statement games. And being able to make it close, lose 5-4, sometimes even losing 5-3 can be a statement game. They're not losing. They're winning 4-2. That's a definitive statement game. If they can close this out right now, that's a really strong statement by Team Moist.
Yeah, it really is. And you just gotta kind of be rooting for the underdog story here, actually.
Well, you were saying about Nexus maybe not saying they were practicing every night. Now you're wondering if he's trolling us.
I have a feeling he might have. Well, it's entirely possible that he might have been. And if that's the case, then
well played, Nexus.
Well played.
And this is the fun part of the competitive tanks leagues, guys. Teams get better. Sometimes they get worse, but sometimes they get better. And if they take the time to practice, time to get to know their teammates, time to work on communications, the little things. We've talked in the first couple match nights, we're talking about the importance of being able to move in close proximity with each other. We saw tonight, if you hit a rock, it can be the toast. You can be toast if you're not careful. And I think we're seeing Team Moist grow before our very eyes. And that's not to knock Bear Force 1. I just think Team Moist has been playing very well tonight. And we have 30 seconds left to go before we roll into our next match. On Sand River?
Yep, it will be on Sand River, and I'm pretty I actually don't know who's on defense for this. But we have about 30 seconds left now.
And here's the thing, guys. If you have your bingo cards available tonight, we haven't had a flip tank yet, and we haven't seen a Kronwagen yet. So here's an opportunity to get 2 bingo slots checked off tonight in one match.
All right, so it'll be Team Moist on defense, which is not a good position for Bear Force 1, as Team Moist is in, Sand River defense, excuse me, Sand River defense is a much easier map to defend than Bear Force 1. And with that, in we go. We have Bear Force 1 bringing 2 Kronwagens, 2 Batchats, and a T100. Team Moist bringing an IS-7, a Super Conqueror, 2 Batchats, and an STB.
So we have a total of 2 Kronwagens for this match. And here's the question. Who's going to flip, if any, tank?
I don't know. My guess, my joke guess, as always, would be Nexus is going to be the one to flip. But Team Moist seems to be on a roll here, so I kind of want to watch them clinch this here with this win if they manage to pull it off. But you can see they're taking up the kind of the standard positions. Nexus heading north with the IS-7. The Super Conqueror heading to that typical D7 ridge place where he can keep an eye on the 2-cap. The Batchat, who is Aubrey, is playing a little bit further down. He's on that typical F ridge that's normally above the cap spawn for Sand River on a normal random battle. But he's not playing the farther back bush. He's playing a little bit further up so he can keep an eye on any possible peaks in the mid that by muscles. And you can see the 2 Kronwagens, though, taking the slower route, but the safer route, so they don't get farmed as they cross that mid-ridge. And they should be able to push up and underneath the 2-cap here very shortly, but they aren't in the best of positions here, as there's a Batchat and an IS-7 now camping out in that A8 area, and I'm pretty sure the IS-7 is running a turbo to get up there as quickly as he did.
Yeah, that's a heck of a tank to be catching in that crossfire right there. The IS-7, when you get hit by an IS-7.
Oh yeah, well the IS-7, it's lackluster pen, but the position that he's in, he can play hull down there and get farm into anything trying to push over onto the STB and the Super Conqueror. And it's got a good enough gun that when it connects in pens, you feel it. Especially when you're shooting at medium tanks.
Yeah, you're going to have a not very good day if that pens.
And it does look like they did manage to light one of the Kronwagens, so they do know that there's at least one of them now in C5. They don't know where Muscles or the T100 is. Octobear taking advantage of the bushes that aren't usually that good for typical random play, but in 5v5 it's a good spot that can keep an eye on anything that might be trying to make a push down the 0 line if Team Moist were to try to make a flex there. But right now nobody's bled any HP, and we've gone pretty well. Aubrey, though, getting the light on Octobear, as Octobear tried to slide out of that bush undetected, but Aubrey was in a good enough spot to spot him. No damage done to Octobear, but they now know that he is down there.
Interesting. As we were just tuned in on Octobear. Managed to disengage, break contact, at least for that second. December just took a hit from someone.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was from the STB, Ryan Tech God, because he managed to bleed a shot as well. So probably a shot coming in from Muscles in the Batchat, connecting with Ryan Tech God, and then Ryan Tech God getting the shot onto the Kronwagen. So, equal trade.
Yep, and we're now rolling about the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, and remember, ultimately, this is in Team Moist's favor.
Yep.
The longer that they delay this, the longer that they have as a possibility of winning, because they're on defense. So a draw is a win for them. And again, this position that they have Tuesday in is a very good spot for an IS-7. He's difficult to dig out unless you're coming from the direction that Nexus is sitting at, in Russian mediums or something. It's a good little spot for him to be tucked away in, because it'll put he can put a lot of damage into the sides of these Kronwagens if they try to make a play onto Melodius or Ryan Tech God.
Tactically, his positioning, like you said, hold down is great. Strategically, it's even better because he's got that direct shot down and towards the cap. I like how Moist is set up. Yes, it may be a very standard setup, but I like the uniqueness of the IS-7 being located where it is, because they're kind of daring Bear Force 1 to break this defense. Come on, you know what we're doing, break it. And you have 3 autoloaders all grouped together right here with Floppy, December, and November. 2 Kronwagens and that Bat Chat.
And it does look like Muscles and Octobear are now gonna. They know that there's something in one of these bushes, right? Because at least the last time that Octobear was there, because he got lit by it. So what they're gonna try to do here is they're trying to figure out what tank it is, because Aubrey is the weak link in this area, just because of where he's located. Now the Kronwagen is crossing. Both of the Kronwagens making the push across. They have Aubrey in the Bat Chat now is flexing out of there, but that does give up a lot of control of that ridge to Bear Force 1.
Yep, they're trying to compress, deny space, and kind of create their crossfires of their own.
Aubrey and the Bat Chat getting lit as both of these Kronwagens are going to be able to peek onto him and get a couple shots into him. They do, both of them managing to connect, dropping Aubrey down to 646 HP. And he's getting another shot in from Muscles, and Aubrey is going to go down as the first victim of this match at 5 minutes into this game. Ryan Tekon now in the STB is not in the best of positions here as Tuesday is making the push down. I don't know where Tuesday's going.
That way.
Away from everything, I think.
Yeah, I don't
know. Like, I think he might be looking for November, but that's not the tank that I would use to go looking for it. As now Bear Force 1 has managed to turn this around on Team Moist, and they are in a decent position now to apply cap pressure and force Team Moist to react instead.
I mean, that's a key component. They take the initiative, they have the advantage. I think right now, it's definitely Bear Force taking the advantage and grabbing the initiative.
Well, Bear Force 1 is definitely up in HP by almost about 2k right now. And with December and Floppy both alive in those Kronwagens, it's going to make it near impossible for them to make a push out onto the cap. Nexus, though, is just YOLOing out there. I don't know what he's doing. It's not the play that I would have made, but at this point, they don't really have much of a choice here, as these Kronwagens are just making short work of what's left of Team Moist.
And we'll be shifting into Tuesday with some miracle run here. We're going to be looking at, oh, nope. It's now 4-3 with Bear Force 1 picking up their first match in a few. And congratulations to them on that. Floppy with 3297, December with 2757, and then it drops down a bit to 1800 for Muscles, 1202 for November, and October with 293. On the flip side, Nexus at about 1272, and Tuesday at 976. We see that's a massive difference between the teams, but another fun match to watch. I thought for a while that Team Moist kind of had them on the ropes, but then you watch the rotation, the way that Bear Force 1 used the map to create that rotation to force them out and take down Aubrey. So a fun match, another fun match to watch.
Absolutely, and you know, ultimately it was just a bit of that. That was their weak underbelly, was the one cap area, and Bear Force 1 was just able to work it out. They gave them enough time to do that. Now, the Team Moist is still on match point. They will have another chance on Sand River to pull back a W here and make it a 5-3 series. Will they be able to do it? I don't know. We kind of have to wait and see, because it's. If you had asked me at the start of this game, I would have said Team Moist had no chance. But we've seen them pull back and go up 4 games in a row, basically, on Bear Force 1.
Yeah, I'm intrigued here. Can Bear Force 1 dig it out? Can they find a way to come back? Or will Team Moist close out for a pretty big win for them? I'm trying to remember who I think they're on 3 points. I'm trying to remember who they beat the first time. And you remember, was it Flippy that they beat?
I think it was Flippy.
Okay. This would be the biggest victory of the season so far, if they can pull it out. And I say if they can pull it out.
Oh yeah, because just like we just saw in that Sand River game, things can flip back so quickly here.
Yep. Bear Force 1 is that extremely talented team, and we do not want to sell them short at all.
Absolutely, and for their defense, they're going to bring Floppy in a Super Conqueror, Octobear in a 5A, Muscles in a Batchat, November in a CS63, and December in an STB1. And for Team Moist, they have elected to bring 2 Kronvagans from with Melodious and Tuesday, Aubrey in a Super Conqueror, Nexus in a Batchat, and Ryan Tech God in a Batchat as well. So, interesting play here. The 2 Kronvagans again. We go from seeing no Kronvagans forever to seeing 4 in the span of a couple minutes. I'm always a fan of that.
Yep.
But it does look like Bear Force 1 is going to send the STB and the 5A up north into that A8 pocket area. Muscles now making the Batchat run to try to get an early peek onto Team Moist. The only tank that might have a shot on him is going to be the Super Conqueror, because he'll be the only one that's going to be loaded in time for Muscles when he makes this run. And Muscles not actually doing the run, he's just going to poke check that. And by doing so, he's going to pop the 2 Kronvagans and the Super Conqueror. So they now know which direction they're going. The 2 Batchats making aggressive plays up the A line. It looks like they're going to try to get into a position to deny use of that corner that 5A, that the IS-7 was in last time. With Nexus and Ryan Tech God getting up there. Now, that's a lot of HP to chew through. The STB and the 5A, both of the Batchats need to focus their targets in order to pick him off. Or pick one of them off at least, but then they will have both be on reload.
Yep. And the reload is that double-edged sword, because you can do so much damage so quickly with the autoloaders, but when you're on reload, you just feel like a pinata sometimes.
Absolutely. And Ryan Tech God, Ryan Tech God did manage to get under there. They put Tuesday in the Kronvagen on cap. Aubrey in the Super Conqueror still kind of isolated and away from the play. He's in a position where he can get some shots if they decide to make like a mass push on Melodious, but it's not really the best spot to put a Super Conqueror, because if he gets lit here, he's really exposed from both sides. Both of those Batchats, Nexus though, and Ryan Tech God, they are playing still north. It looks like what they're going to try to do is basically force Bear Force 1 to react. Melodious here, though, peeking with a Kronvagen. The Kronvagen is good when you can keep the enemy in front of you, but that CS63 and the Batchat that are over there would give me a bit of worry there. Nexus, though, dropping a lot of HP there real quickly, down to 683, as I think Octobear and December actually might be able to just make the push here, knowing that they'll be able to pick at least one tank completely. They're definitely going to pick Nexus here very shortly if December can hit these shots. Octobear, though, is bleeding a lot of HP. They do manage to kill Octobear. Nexus does manage to get a kill, and now he's going to get shot, but Ryan Tech God is definitely on reload as he tries to get out of there, and December should be able to chase him down. Aubrey in the Super Conqueror, though, bleeding a lot of HP as he managed to get a couple shots into November. The Kronvagen that was on cap is now moving in behind to put some shots into December as well. Tuesday there, waiting for the Batchat to reload so they can flex back around. Melodious, though, in the meantime, is completely alone. So the Batchat and the Kronvagen need to get back very quickly to give him some help here. Otherwise, he could get pushed by the STB and the Super Conqueror here in short order. And it does look like they're getting some good shots into December here. Melodious might be able to get this pick as he pushes over. Will he get Octobear? Will Octobear escape? It looks like he will get the pick. He does manage to get the pick on Octobear, and now he's just going to back over while he's on reload and wait for his buddies, the Kronvagen and the Batchat, to catch up. And it's swinging kind of in favor of Team Moist here. The HP is still almost similar. It's about 1,000 different, but they are up by a tank at this point.
Close matches going back and forth. I love this. This is great.
And Aubrey in the Super Conqueror keeping November in the CS63 busy, as now Team Moist is making that aggressive play onto Floppy. Floppy might be able to get Melodious here. No, he's not, as Tuesday and the Kronvagen manages to pick him up. And November here is kind of alone as he's getting pushed by Muscles. Aubrey is going to die to Muscles here in short order, but there's so much HP now in favor of Team Moist.
And they're rolling right at him. They know they can try. They're looking to hunt him down and put him down.
Yes, they are. They did get the spot onto Muscles, but 2 shots coming out of Tuesday do miss. He should be able to come here, and that should make it a very easy pickup for Ryan Tech God. And November Ryan in the CS63, I'm pretty sure, is just trying to get into a position where he can put some shots in while those Kronvagens are on reload. But Muscles does go down to Ryan, and I think Team Moist has picked up a win here.
A big win. A very big win for them. If they can close this out, and it looks like they can, but you never know. I know you guys may be sick of hearing me say that, but you really don't know until literally the last tank is Pocket 6-0 or the last tank.
And Tuesday, the Master Bounce, Master Gun Bounce, as he is. And with that, Team Moist picks up the win, making it 5-3 in favor of Team Moist. A huge upset here, as I don't think anybody really saw this coming at all.
And huge credit to Team Moist, to all the effort they're putting in, to Tuesday, Ryan, Aubrey, Melodius, and Nexus for all the hard work you guys are putting in. We got to see the results of your hard work. We got to see a result of the effort you're putting into this, and thank you. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, well done to Team Moist. The Bears, though, I don't know what happened, but, pick yourselves back up, get yourselves back in the game, and we look forward to watching you next game on, I think, Friday, I think, is the next time you guys are playing. But huge congratulations to Team Moist. Huge upset here. And with that will actually bring us to an end for tonight's night of the SteelSeries Community League, night 11. Once again, I am Edge of Insanity. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody, to watch and join myself and BTED in these games. I know that I had a good time tonight. Both of these games, they both ended 5-3 for wins, but
this is great.
In very
this
different
an awesome
ways.
Match. Yeah. And here's the thing, guys, is if you enjoyed the matches tonight, tune in on Friday. We'll be having some great matches for you then too, where Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, the Steel Series is tons of fun to be a part of, and we appreciate it. And if you want to get a bit more into it, check out the fantasyleague.com. Check that out. Unknowns created this thing. It's just for bragging rights, but it's a lot of fun involved in that as well. But thank you guys so much for being here. This was a blast. This was a great night. And Edge, any last comments?
Oh, I apologize. I accidentally muted my mic. I was just going to say thank you, everybody, very much for joining us. I'm going to throw you over to another streamer. I'm sure BTED is going to do the same thing as well. And we will see you all back on Friday.
Thanks, guys. Bye.